Chapter 88. Roar, roar, roar! The dragon's might was vast and mighty in the sky and on the ground. It resounded through the mountains and forests, sending countless leaves flying wildly. The surging gales were about to sweep up the mountains. As the gigantic dragon-shaped pillar surged, countless gales swept out in all directions, causing a large number of cultivators to fly out horizontally. They couldn't stop the martial god's aura. What kind of tyrannical might was this? It swept through the entire field. Martial god. The expressions of the surrounding people changed. They could clearly sense the martial god's terror and majesty. He was like a terrifying martial giant standing between heaven and earth, his hair dancing wildly in the wind. As for the purple-robed elder, half of his body had already collapsed as he let out a mournful cry. What kind of power was this? The martial god's fist had almost pulverized the purple-robed elder. As the martial god took a step forward, a dragon's roar shook the heavens. Wherever he passed, the earth quaked and the mountains swayed. The scene was monstrous, as if the end of the world had arrived. Everything was trembling along with the martial god. "How dare you bully my student? Hand over your life." The martial god was still as tyrannical, cold, and tyrannical as ever. He was like a peerless overlord who ran amok between heaven and earth. He didn't respect the heavens, the earth, or the gods and demons. He swooped down like lightning as countless dragon-shaped pillars soared out from his body and pierced through the sky. They contained the vague power of the laws of heaven and earth. Su Yan, who was about to faint, became excited when he saw this. Yuan had already begun to comprehend some of the laws of heaven and earth. He also felt guilty. He was afraid that the martial god wouldn't have come out of seclusion in advance if he hadn't been in danger. Xia Zhe and the others were currently comprehending the laws of heaven and earth. The great changes on Earth would definitely cause chaos in the Huaxia Alliance. When the time came, all kinds of experts would rise up and the Huaxia Alliance would enter an era of bloody storms. When that time came, who knew how many people would be buried with them? Boom! The surroundings were rumbling as the martial god's chest rose and fell. The ground within a radius of dozens of kilometers was shaking. He was too arrogant. The dragon-shaped pillars that had erupted from his body had returned to his body at this moment. At this moment, the martial god's aura was much more powerful. It could be said that he was an ancient star filled with the power to collapse the heavens and split the seas. "Old thing, give me your life." The aura of the martial god permeated the entire area. He rushed towards the purple-robed elder in the blink of an eye, releasing an angry roar. A giant dragon pillar rose into the air, raising its head and roaring. It interweaved with the indistinct light of order, its roar shaking the mountains and rivers. At this moment, even the violet-robed old man felt half of his body collapsing. His entire body was on the verge of being crushed by the martial god's roar. Boom! Suddenly, just as the martial god was about to sacrifice the purple-robed elder, Zhu Yan's body pushed through the already indistinct sea of dragon veins. His foot soared up, and when it stomped down on the martial god, it exploded like a heavenly drum. His feet quickly enlarged. His golden boots were interwoven with dazzling divine art patterns. His feet were like a terrifying ancient mountain as he stomped down on the martial god. "Teacher!" Su Yan was seething with anger. Zhu Yan was humiliating Yuan. He hated himself for being useless and unable to help his teacher at this critical moment. "Go!" The martial god's roar shook the mountains and rivers. It had the power to split the mountains and split the seas. He waved his hand and swept Su Yan away. He let out an earth-shaking laugh with a domineering attitude that could be seen at a glance. His giant fist soared up. One could faintly see the stars in the outer realms faintly swaying along with it. At this moment, the martial god seemed to be able to move the starry skies. The moment he released his fist, the power of the stars poured down and converged on his fist. For a moment, it gushed out with a fierce and invincible might. Rumble! The martial god's fist and Yuan's foot collided and split open the sky. This was a pitch-black crack that caused everyone's scalp to go numb. The people in the surroundings were dumbfounded. The martial god had blocked Zhu Yan's divine might. At the same time, the martial god's heart sank. Zhu Yan's injuries were so severe, but his strength was still so terrifying. This Zhu Yan truly lived up to his reputation. If he were to fight with him, the martial god's chances of victory would be extremely low. Just as the martial god was about to charge forward and kill the severely injured Zhu Yan in one fell swoop, facing the incomparably miserable purple-robed elder, a resplendent primordial spirit flame suddenly ignited on his forehead. The energy that emanated from it pierced through the void and transformed into a purple sword embryo that slashed towards the martial god's forehead. Not good. The martial god's expression changed drastically. How did he cultivate such a powerful primordial spirit? The martial god's primordial spirit completely erupted. His primordial spirit had stepped out of his sea of consciousness. Although there was a large gap between his primordial spirit and the purple-robed elders, Yuan's primordial spirit was hugging a small, pitch-black cauldron that was surrounded by surging divine spirit light. This cauldron was an incomparably precious primordial spirit mystic treasure. It instantly blocked the killing sword that was slashing towards him. The battle here was incomparably intense. Su Yan was pushed dozens of miles away by Yuan's strength. How can this old thing's primordial spirit be so strong? Su Yan's forehead was dripping with blood. His primordial spirit had nearly been shattered. Fortunately, the Sutra of the Future was powerful enough to temporarily protect his primordial spirit. Of course, if not for Yuan's timely arrival, even if Su Yan had taken out his blood spear, it would have been very difficult for him to survive. After all, if Zhu Yan had charged out, there would have been no way out. This time it was too thrilling. Su Yan did not expect the dragon totem to fall into a deep slumber. Su Yan fully released the power of his primordial spirit. He could sense the battle taking place in the dragon-veined sea. Zhu Yan was very terrifying. He had already left the dragon-veined sea. The moment he released his aura, a boundless purple light illuminated the sky. It was as if an invincible war god had awakened here. Kill! These two were existences that could do as they pleased on earth. One was the martial god, and the other was the war god. They fought together. The moment their terrifying bodies collided, the surroundings collapsed and the mountains shook. Blood splashed out from their fists. "You can't do it," Zhu Yan said coldly. His aura blazed once again. The purple light illuminated the sky, and a large seal with a vague aura floated. The moment the weapon-building realm's cultivation pervaded the air, it completely suppressed the martial god's strength. The martial god's hair was disheveled, and his eyes flashed with a cold and wild luster. Fortunately, he had comprehended some of the laws of heaven and earth. Otherwise, he would have been completely suppressed in this confrontation. He had no chance of winning at all. We're in big trouble. Teacher's life spring is damaged. He's no match for Zhu Yan now. Su Yan's eyes were red. He had heard from Yuan that he and Zhu Yan both had a king physique. However, the martial god's life spring was damaged in the battle decades ago. The difference between his divine source and Zhu Yan's was too great. Moreover, Zhu Yan was armed to the teeth. Su Yan ran with all his might. He was as fast as lightning as he rapidly approached the source of the battle. His speed was very fast. He traversed through the mountain forest as fast as lightning. Just as Su Yan was about 5 kilometers away from his destination, waves after waves of auras that were not inferior to Zhu Yan's suddenly awakened. The mountain forest seemed to have been dyed with a layer of bone-chilling frost. It was as if large snowflakes were drifting down from the sky. The wild beasts in the mountain forest were shivering. It was as if ancient profound ice had melted here. Their lives were about to be sealed in ice. "Who is it?" Su Yan's hair stood on end. Even someone as powerful as him was faintly showing signs of being frozen. This was a rare phenomenon that could seal a great region in ice. Su Yen clenched his fists and breathed heavily. He didn't retreat. The essence blood in his body surged as he resisted the pressure of this phenomenon. "Come out!" Su Yen coldly shouted. He didn't retreat because of this aura. When he noticed that the battle between Zhu Yan and the martial god had reached its climax and that the martial god was constantly being suppressed by Zhu Yan's aura, Su Yan's eyes narrowed as he once again madly ran in the direction of the source. Rip! It was also at this moment that the sky in front of Su Yan was torn apart. A bone-chilling cold wind swept out. Everywhere it passed, some vicious beasts were frozen to death. 1. Su Yan's aura was fully released. His body was like a furnace that burned fiercely. Although this cold wind was bone-chilling, it wasn't to the extent that it could hurt him. It was also at this moment that Su Yan's pupils suddenly shrank. In front of him, a woman in snow-white clothes descended from the sky. Her skin was snow-white and sparkling like an ancient snow lotus, pure as ice and pure as jade. She gracefully descended. This peerless beauty was like a proud daughter of heaven that had walked out of a snowy country. Her entire body exuded a cold and elegant temperament. Unfortunately, her face was covered by a veil. Only a pair of cold eyes could be seen as she stared straight at Su Yan. "Who are you?" Su Yan clenched his fist. Among the top 10 powerhouses, besides Su Bingshuang, the rest were all men. But who was this woman that had suddenly appeared? Just from her aura, he could tell that she was no ordinary woman. She was likely not inferior to Xia Zhe. "I'll give you 2 choices. Leave this place or be sealed in ice by me." Her voice was indistinct, as if it came from a very distant place. This caused Su Yan to fall silent. Confrontation. They were confronting each other. As the battle reached a critical juncture of life and death, Su Yan clenched his fists. He saw that Yuan had been injured and was being bombarded by Zhu Yan, who was clad in golden battle armor and armed to the teeth. Yuan's flesh was lacerated, and it seemed as if he would explode from the pressure. "Teacher! Get out of my way!" Su Yan's eyes were red as he rushed forward. This peerless beauty, who seemed to have walked out of a snowy country, slowly stretched out her jade-like hand and chopped towards Su Yan. Boom! At this moment Su Yan's hands and even his expression were filled with pain. He was holding onto a crimson blood spear. The moment he threw it out, it was as if he was going to pierce a demon god to death. The peerless beauty's pupils suddenly shrank. She immediately dodged. Once she was pierced to death, she would not be able to live. "Teacher, catch the weapon!" Su Yan was like a barbaric dragon. With a leap, he pierced through the clouds and mist. In an instant, he had leaped a mile. He threw the blood spear out with both hands. The blood spear tore through several miles at a terrifying speed as it rushed towards Yuan. "Good weapon!" Yuan, who had been suppressed all this time, laughed heartily. She suddenly stretched out her hand and spat out a dragon-shaped pillar, catching the blood spear that Su Yan had thrown over. At this moment, Yuan was even more tyrannical and ferocious. She was like a living monster, like a divine king who had sacrificed a demon god. Ha ha ha! Chapter 89. This weapon was too ferocious. It was like a ferocious blood-colored dragon, suffused with a blood-colored radiance that could tear the heavens and split the seas. It was like the light of destruction gushing out from the depths of hell, scattering the clouds in all directions. The spectators from all directions felt like their bodies were about to split apart. Their hearts were filled with fear. How could there be such a powerful weapon? Just the vicious aura emanating from the weapon alone made their souls tremble. It was as if their souls were about to scatter. The martial god's aura was already ferocious and tyrannical. Now that he was wielding the blood spear, he was as majestic as a demon god. His hair danced in the wind and his pupils shot out lightning in all directions. Zhu Yan's expression was somewhat unsightly. Where had Su Yan obtained such a weapon? It was definitely refined by an expert. Just its spiritual will alone was enough to intimidate a strong enemy. Boom! The blood spear pierced through the sky like a terrifying bolt of blood-colored lightning, striking towards Zhu Yan. Even someone as strong as Zhu Yan, who was armed to the teeth, felt like he would be pierced through by this blood spear. What a powerful weapon! Yuan felt the power of the blood spear. Once it was awakened, it could lock down a strong enemy. This made him laugh to the sky. This weapon was too ferocious. Although Yuan had a bow, it was not suitable for close combat. Now that he had the blood spear, Yuan's battle prowess had increased by another level. Kill! He roared. The blood spear streaked through the sky and pierced through Zhu Yan's divine energy storm. A blood-colored beam of light pierced through the heavens, shaking hundreds of miles of mountains and rivers. The moment Yuan swung it, the heavens and earth rumbled and the mountains trembled. It's just a weapon. You can't beat me. Zhu Yan glared angrily. He had even sensed Yuan's potential. The martial god had a king physique, but Zhu Yan had not expected Yuan to have come so far. If not for his shattered life spring, he would have been a strong opponent for Zhu Yan. Moreover, Zhu Yan was certain that Yuan had obtained a great fortune. It was very likely that he had unearthed some ancient inheritance. If he couldn't kill him here, he would probably become a formidable opponent in the future. The great battle here had already reached its climax. The battle between the martial god and the war god caused the heavens to shake and the earth to tremble, giving rise to surging energy storms. The 9 great mountains gradually calmed down. The sea of dragon veins returned to the 9 great mountains, and the phenomenon in the sky slowly dissipated. At the same time, countless cultivators rushed out of the 9th base. From the moment Su Yan went berserk, to the moment Tao Tianhua was killed, and then to the sudden change in the 9 mountains, all of these had attracted the attention of various forces. Countless people were converging towards their destination. Su Yan sensed that a storm was coming. Everyone had been slaughtering each other, and the beast kings that had been hiding in different areas had also rushed out to fight against the people from the 9th base. The smell of blood filled the air, and the battle was extremely fierce. The sky was dyed red with blood. According to the war god Zhu Yan, the female Shura is behind this battle. She wants to use the method of blood sacrifice to open Emperor Qin's mausoleum. Someone said in shock, "It doesn't matter if it's true or not, Emperor Qin's mausoleum should be nearby. Search for it immediately. This must be an ancient ruin." Yes, it doesn't matter if the war god Zhu Yan has evidence to prove that the female Shura betrayed us. But have you guys noticed? The soil here is a little different. Emperor Qin's mausoleum must be nearby. Some of the clear-headed experts gathered together and discussed. They saw that the vast territory had changed. It was faintly filled with a very terrifying demonic aura, as if something was about to drill out from the ground. But where is Emperor Qin's mausoleum? The wilderness is so big. Where can we find it? Many experts were concerned about this question. What was the most valuable thing on Earth now? It must be the ancient ruins. All kinds of treasures and secret manuals were unearthed from ancient ruins. Controlling the ancient ruins and the knowledge of the demonic god civilization was equivalent to controlling the future. Although they didn't know what was in Emperor Qin's mausoleum, who wouldn't want to go in and take a look? The moment the heaven and earth phenomenon completely dissipated, the thousands of li territory regained some peace. At the center, it was very strange. The mountain rocks here had all turned the color of blood. The blood spilled from thousands of li all gathered here. The more blood gathered, the more savage the terrain became. It was like an awakening blood-colored evil dragon. Boom! It roared faintly. It seemed to have a life of its own. Its heart seemed to be beating slowly. It was a frightening scene. As time passed, this place became more and more chaotic. The earth's crust shook, and some layers of soil faintly collapsed. Strands of evil aura seeped out. Once the mausoleum that had been sealed for so many years cracked open, only heaven knew what kind of ominous disaster would be born. Some people were attracted and began to gather towards the destination. Big news. Su Yan killed Jiang Wuhan. This news shook the entire wilderness and the entire Huaxia alliance. For a moment, the whole world was shaken. What kind of joke is this? Jiang Wuhan is Su Yan's student. Someone said incredulously. How could Su Yan have the ability to kill Jiang Wuhan? Yeah, even if Su Yan is strong, even if he killed Tao Tianhua, what power does he have to kill Su Yan's student? Someone gasped and retorted. They didn't believe this news. That's the truth. There are photos that have been released. Jiang Wuhan was killed by Su Yan with a single blow. Some people were shocked because the current Jiang Wuhan was equivalent to the most outstanding genius of the Huaxia alliance. And he killed Jiang Wuhan in front of Su Yan. It seems that Su Yan has become stronger by taking away Su Yan's fortune. His cultivation level has advanced by leaps and bounds, and he's now at the peak of the life spring stage. The entire Huaxia alliance trembled. This matter was too unbelievable. Jiang Wuhan was the god of war's student, but now he was killed by Su Yan with a single blow. One could imagine how terrifying this matter would be. Su Yan has already turned into a demon. Tao Tianhua and Jiang Wuhan were both killed by him. Imagine Su Yan's sudden rise. Aren't you surprised? And it's said that Su Yan rescued the female Azura. God of War Su Yan has made great contributions to the Huaxia alliance. Su Yan not only stole God of War Su Yan's fortune, but he also killed Jiang Wuhan with a single blow. This person is unforgivable. He even beat up the vice dean of Huaxia University and almost killed Lei Lao. This person is more dangerous than a wild beast. He must be eliminated. Bullshit. What crime did Su Yan commit? It was Tao Tianhua who killed him first. Jiang Wuhan also killed him first. Don't tell me Su Yan can't resist. Someone stood up for Su Yan. I believe in the female Azura, and I believe in the God of War's disciple even more. Isn't it too early to make a conclusion before investigating thoroughly? Don't you see that so many people are chasing after Su Yan? What crime did he commit? I saw with my own eyes that Su Yan killed the Jiao Dragon King. You still say that Su Yan is in cahoots with wild beasts? What a joke. Don't you know that the Jiao Dragon King is one of the leaders of the wild beasts? Do you know how many of our Huaxia Alliance's experts he has killed? What? The Jiao Dragon King was killed by Su Yan? Don't spout nonsense. The Jiao Dragon King is a demon king. What ability does Su Yan have to kill a demon king? It's true. Su Yan killed a demon king. This is an indelible achievement. Another photo of Su Yan tearing the Jiao Dragon King apart was released, causing a terrifying storm to erupt in the Huaxia Alliance. This was a demon king, which was equivalent to a wild beast killing Xiaze. One could imagine what kind of shocking storm it would cause if news of this spread. After all, the chaos this time was related to the three peak experts of the Huaxia Alliance. It was also related to Su Yan, a ruthless person who had risen out of nowhere. There were too many mysteries in this matter. In an instant, Su Yan's name resounded throughout the Huaxia Alliance. At this moment, Su Yan clenched his fists. He was confronting a white beauty in this world of ice and snow. She was like a peerless beauty who had walked out of a snowy country. Her clothes fluttered in the wind, and her black hair fell to her waist. Her skin was whiter than snow, and she was graceful and charming. Her cold eyes calmly looked at Su Yan. If you take another step forward, I won't be merciful anymore. The peerless beauty spoke indifferently. Her snow-white body released waves of bone-chilling air, freezing everything within a dozen miles. The vague power of the laws of heaven and earth rose behind her, spreading over a dozen miles. Su Yan felt a suffocating pressure. He could clearly see how terrifying the future experts of Earth were. Once they grasped the laws of heaven and earth, they would become the strongest among the strongest. Xia Zhe and the others were also racing against time. If a demon king grasped the laws of heaven and earth, the consequences would be too severe. It would definitely have the power to topple mountains and overturn seas. Even a base made of steel wouldn't be able to withstand such a terrifying power. When that time came, the Huaxia alliance would enter an even more cruel doomsday era. Seeing that Su Yan still hadn't left, the peerless beauty's palm intertwined with vague fluctuations of the laws. The air that leaked out faintly affected the operation of the void. Even from a distance, Su Yan felt as if his body was splitting apart. He was shocked. This power was too strong. No wonder the second great change on Earth would cause such chaos. Who wouldn't want to grasp such power? All right, I'll go. Su Yan spoke in a low voice. Yuan now had blood spear's help, so her life shouldn't be in danger. Moreover, he knew that even if he went over, he would only add to the chaos. He turned around and took one step after another. It was like climbing a snowy mountain in the past. It was difficult to walk in the bone-chilling cold of heaven and earth. Every step seemed to drain Su Yan of his strength. He walked very slowly, and his back seemed to be faintly lonely. The peerless beauty's cold eyes faintly trembled as she watched Su Yan leave. She couldn't bear to see him leave. She raised her hand, wanting to call Su Yan back. However, she couldn't say it. Her eyes flashed with determination. It was very quiet here. Everything seemed to be sealed in ice. With every step he took, Su Yan's heart turned colder. His heart seemed to be sealed in ice. These dozens of miles seemed to be very difficult to walk. At this time, some of Zhu Yan's subordinates had also chased them here. However, the moment they stepped into this place, they would slowly turn into ice sculptures. Gusts of wind blew over and these ice sculptures would shatter into pieces, silently dying. They still couldn't believe why this peerless beauty wanted to help Su Yan. Why did she want to kill them? The path Su Yan took was a dead end. With the peerless beauty's strength, unless Zhu Yan made a move, no one would be able to break through this field that was intertwined with the power of the great Tao. This was the power of the laws. Once mastered, it was equivalent to mastering the power of heaven and earth. This was only the manifestation of the initial comprehension of some of the laws. If a cultivator could comprehend all of them, it would be amazing. It was enough to shock the heavens and earth and make ghosts and gods weep. Su Yan walked very slowly for dozens of miles. He finally stopped. Gusts of cold wind made Su Yan's strong body feel weak. It was as if he had lost all his strength. Su Yan slowly turned his head. He had a complicated look in his eyes as he looked at the beautiful woman in the distance. Her clothes were fluttering in the wind. She was like a fairy from the moon. Her skin was whiter than snow, and she was graceful and charming. Su Yan suddenly smiled as he looked at this cold woman. "Aren't you going to meet me?" Hearing this, the peerless beauty's eyes trembled. She clenched her slender, jade-like hands. Su Yan didn't know that this unique cold temperament was someone who would let him go and help him deal with Zhu Yan. Apart from Yi Si-yun, who else could it be? She took a deep breath. She didn't answer Su Yan. Instead, she used her usual tone and said, "If you don't leave now, it will be too late. With Zhu Yan's strength, even the martial god won't be able to stop him for long. When the time comes, I won't be able to help you. Su Yan, please leave." Hearing this, Su Yan clenched his fist. He shook his head and sneered. "I don't need the help of a stranger. I don't want to live without knowing anything. You have your choice, and I have mine." Su Yan. The peerless beauty was silent for a while. She looked at him and said, "You can't beat Zhu Yan right now. You haven't even reached the weapon-building realm. Now that the heavens and earth have given birth to new laws, once Zhu Yan steps into this realm, coupled with his resources, how strong do you think Zhu Yan will be in the future? In my dictionary, there is no such thing as admitting defeat." Su Yan looked at the peerless beauty and said, "I chose this path. Even if I fall to pieces, I, Su Yan, will not take half a step back. Also, Zhu Yan wants to kill Bing Shuang. One day, I will definitely kill him. The last sentence revealed a cold, killing intent, causing the temperature to drop even lower. You. The peerless beauty glared at Su Yan and said angrily, "This is not the past. This is the age of gods and devils. There are many things that I can't tell you, but I know that Dao Zuyan is strong. It won't be long before he becomes even stronger. Now that you've confronted him and even taken his good fortune, with Zhu Yan's temperament, he will definitely not let this go. Zhu Yan is strong, but will I, Su Yan, hide and struggle at death's door?" Su Yan bitterly smiled. "For example, you said that in the future there is no way for me to survive. Then I can only kill my way out. I will not admit defeat until the very end." Su Yan turned his head, his tone slowly becoming cold. "In the future, if anyone dares to block my path, I will kill them. I hope you won't. Also, thank you for helping me. I will repay you in the future." Hearing these words, Si Yun's delicate body trembled slightly. Chapter 90. Su Yan didn't leave this area. He saw a Beast King's cave that was filled with an ominous aura and directly charged in. The Beast King in the cave was viciously beaten up by Su Yan. After venting some of its anger, it felt much better. He didn't choose to kill it. Instead, he let the Beast King stay here obediently. Su Yan sat cross-legged inside and seriously pondered. The Beast King's face was bruised and swollen from Su Yan's beating. It didn't dare to speak and could only squat at the entrance, not daring to run away. First, an origin essence stone appeared in Su Yan's hand. He constantly swallowed the origin essence stone's energy to replenish his body's exhaustion. After this series of battles, Su Yan's mind was extremely tired. He needed to rest for a while. With teacher Yuan's strength, Zhu Yan won't be able to threaten his life. Su Yan used his primordial spirit to constantly sense the battle 50 kilometers away. He could sense Yuan's savage aura. Now that he had the help of the blood spear, Yuan could be said to be like a tiger that had grown wings. He wouldn't be suppressed by Zhu Yan. Su Yan was silent for a while. There was a trace of bitterness at the corner of his mouth. The woman just now should be Si Yun. She wasn't willing to meet Su Yan with her true appearance. This made Su Yan very uncomfortable and his heart was filled with panic. Si Yun, I hope you aren't an enemy. Su Yan clenched his fist. Since Si Yun had helped him just now, the current Si Yun wasn't his enemy. However, he didn't know what kind of choice Si Yun would make in the future. Su Yan didn't dare to think about it. Back then, the three of them had climbed Mount Everest together. In the end, Su Yan had lost 100 years of his memories, Zhu Yan had become a war god, and Si Yun's strength was definitely not inferior to a war god's. At this moment, he sank his consciousness into his fate spring. Su Yan's fate spring had already reached the 5th level, and there were many purple clouds floating in his fate spring. Su Yan had absorbed half of the purple air from the awakening of the 9 mountains. He had sealed the rest in his life spring. As for Zhu Yan, he did not get much, so it would not be of much help to him. Just half of the purple gas was enough to make Su Yan's life spring energy almost reach the 9th heaven. Once he stepped into the 6th heaven, he would definitely have the 9th heaven's divine power spring. If that was the case, the value of the purple gas was too terrifying. It must be a mysterious gas that was born between heaven and earth. It could nourish a person's fate spring. The stronger the fate spring, the further Su Yan could go in the future. "Big brother," a weak voice faintly sounded. Su Yan's face lit up with joy. His primordial spirit instantly entered the phoenix hairpin. Su Bingshuang, with her jade-like skin, was lying in the space treasure. Her long black robes wrapped around her curvaceous body. She had beautiful eyebrows and a blissful smile on her beautiful face. "Bingshuang, just stay in my spatial treasure and recuperate. Your injuries are too serious. Don't come out and do anything. Also, we are safe now. Su Yan's words made the smile on Su Bingshuang's face even brighter. At this moment, she didn't look like a strong woman. Instead, she looked like a pretty girl from a humble family, smiling happily. Su Yan looked at Su Bingshuang, who had grown into a great beauty. He couldn't help but sigh. Recalling the happy times 100 years ago, his heart instantly tightened. He said in a deep voice, Bingshuang, let me ask you, how are Mom and Dad now? Hearing this, Su Bingshuang's delicate body trembled. The smile on her face stiffened and her eyes turned red. This scene made Su Yan's face suddenly change. He hurriedly said, hurry up and tell me. How are Mom and Dad? Hurry up and tell me. Su Yan moved Su Bingshuang out from the phoenix hairpin. The moment she came out, Su Bingshuang threw herself into Su Yan's arms and cried, Big brother, Mom and Dad are gone. Boo-hoo! She cried heartbreakingly, and her body was trembling. Ever since her parents passed away, she didn't have any relatives left in this world. The only one left was Su Yan, whose whereabouts were unknown. Su Bingshuang frantically searched for him. The reason why she was called the female Shura was because when her parents passed away, she slaughtered a mountain of beasts out of anger. From then on, the female Shura shook the entire Huaxia alliance. Mom and Dad are gone, gone. Su Yan hugged Su Bingshuang, and his heart was filled with uncontrollable grief and indignation. Although they weren't his biological parents, his adoptive parents treated him as their biological son. Since he was young, he was determined to repay his parents when he grew up. When he thought of how Su Yan wasn't by his parents' side when they needed him the most, he let out a painful growl. One could imagine the pain in his heart. Big brother, it hurts. Because Su Yan's hands were too strong, Su Bingshuang felt suffocated. Su Yan quickly let go, and his palm stroked Su Bingshuang's cheek. He held back his sobs and said in a trembling voice, Bingshuang, it's been hard on you all these years. I'm useless. It's all my fault. Big brother, please don't say that. Su Bingshuang wiped her tears and said in a choked voice, Mom and Dad also passed away peacefully. Although they have awakened, they are very old, and it's difficult for them to cultivate. Mom and Dad have lived for more than 120 years. They won't blame you. Su Yan sat on the ground like a stone statue. He could faintly hear his parents calling his name in their twilight years. Bingshuang, how did you find me? Su Yan looked at her with dull eyes. Hearing this, Su Bingshuang was silent for a while. She said, back then, you went to Mount Everest. Later on, Mount Everest changed. I know all these things. Originally, I thought that my brother was gone. But then, before my father died, he told me something about your background. Su Yan's eyes suddenly shrank. He asked, my background? Yes. Su Bingshuang nodded and said, Dad used to say that he picked you up, but do you know where it is? Could it be Mount Everest? Su Yan clenched his fist in Li's hand. When he saw Su Bingshuang nodding, he lost his voice and said, Dad also went to Mount Everest? Actually, there's something that my dad told me before he passed away. Su Bingshuang paused and said, our Su family is an ancient family. If Dad told me this in the past, I wouldn't have believed it. But when the age of gods and devils came, I believed it. The Su family has always had a family heirloom, a cultivation scripture left behind by our ancestors. This thing has been passed down in the Su family for many generations. Because the earth's heaven and earth essence has not recovered, it is very difficult to walk the path of cultivation. However, even if the heaven and earth essence has dried up, there are still some very thin heaven and earth essence in some spiritual mountains and rivers. Su Bingshuang's words shocked Su Yan greatly. He said in surprise, so this is why Dad and Mom often travel. They are always cultivating. Yes, but even if there is, it is very difficult to cultivate much power. Maybe Dad and Mom thought that cultivation is a very difficult thing to accomplish, so they did not tell us about the scripture. Once they went to Mount Everest and met you. Before Dad died, he said that he could not believe that a baby of 1 or 2 years old like you could live on Mount Everest. Dad went to the Mount Everest summit and found you because he heard your cries. At that time, you were lying in the snow. He found that the crystal pendant hanging on your neck was very strange. It was emitting light that allowed you to live on the Mount Everest. Su Yen was stunned. He did not think that he would have such an experience. Pendant. Su Yen quickly took out the crystal pendant from his neck. Seeing the crystal pendant, Su Yen and Su Bingshuang were stunned. The crystal pendant changed. The original miniature version of Mount Everest in the pendant had now strangely turned into a magnificent giant mountain floating in the crystal. Su Yen was shocked. He had often taken out the crystal pendant to take a look at it over the past few years. However, the crystal pendant was about to disappear. When did it change? He guessed that it changed around the time of the great changes on Earth. Because of these things, I guessed that the changes on Earth were related to you. So I went to look for Mount Everest. Su Bingshuang clenched her jade-like hands and gritted her teeth. After that, Zhu Yen appeared out of nowhere. I knew that you went to Mount Everest with Zhu Yen and Yi Si-yun. At that time, I felt that there was a big problem. Do you know where Mount Everest is? Su Yen asked. Earth changed 100 years ago. Even the geography changed. I looked for it, but I couldn't find it. Later, Xia Zhe and the others found a snowy mountain with abundant heaven and earth essence qi. Xia Zhe and the others also decided to move Huaxia University here. Su Bingshuang was puzzled. Brother, Zhu Yen wasn't at Mount Everest in the past. Su Yen was also very puzzled. Logically, Zhu Yen wouldn't have left the snowy mountain. At that time, Xia Zhe and the others had already started building an architecture school. With the density of the essence qi on Mount Everest, it was enough for our entire Huaxia alliance to prosper in just 10 years. Su Bingshuang knew that this was the most important matter for the rise and fall of the races on Earth. However, Zhu Yen suddenly appeared and said that this was his cave residence. He asked Xia Zhe and the others to stop building. Because of this, both sides had a dispute. But who would have thought that Zhu Yen would actually kill some of the strong people who opposed him? Then, Zhu Yen recruited people and bought horses. He roped in large and small forces and occupied half of the Huaxia alliance. He forced Xia Zhe and the others to leave. Su Bingshuang said hatefully, "It's too despicable." It was clearly Xia Zhe and the others who discovered it first, but Zhu Yen actually killed them. But at that time, Zhu Yen was too strong. Once they had a dispute, the Huaxia alliance would be disrupted. Su Yen clenched his fists tightly. What happened back then was too dark. Xia Zhe and the others could only choose to retreat. Su Bingshuang took a deep breath, her eyes spitting fire. Later, Zhu Yen organized an operation and gathered a large number of strong people on Earth. Basically, they were all strong people from his camp. At that time, I didn't join any forces, so I was also invited. But what she didn't expect was that the place Zhu Yen brought us to was Mount Everest. At first, I thought that I could find your traces, but I didn't expect Zhu Yen to be such a despicable person. We spent a lot of effort to open a secret space hidden in the snowy mountain, but Zhu Yen didn't let us get close. Su Bingshuang and the others didn't have the strength to resist. She knew that if she had an accident with Zhu Yan's people, she wouldn't be able to walk out alive. But what surprised Su Bingshuang was that a person suddenly flew out of the secret space. A 17 or 18-year-old man. It was her brother, Su Yen. Su Bingshuang led her subordinates and took away Su Yen, who was in a deep sleep. Su Bingshuang also suffered heavy losses. For the past few years, she had been hunted down by Zhu Yan's people. What kind of secret is hidden in Mount Everest? Su Yen clenched his fists tightly. All of this was too bizarre. I don't know who threw you out. At that time, Zhu Yen was also heavily injured. I feel that he didn't know it was you. Otherwise, it would be difficult for us to survive on Earth. Su Bingshuang was also confused. Who threw Su Yan out? Later, Tang Yi brought Su Yan to the Ice Snow Academy, and Su Bingshuang lured away the pursuers. For the past few years, she had been living in the wilderness with difficulty. Su Yan wondered if it was Yi Si Yun who threw him out. "All right, brother." Su Bingshuang thought of something and hurriedly said, "Immediately inform Xia Zhe and the others. Zhu Yan is the mastermind behind the expedition in the wilderness. He wants to use the method of blood sacrifice to open Emperor Qin's mausoleum. Once the strong people from all walks of life enter Emperor Qin's mausoleum, many people will die. They will all be buried with him." Oh no, I almost forgot about this. Chapter 91. Su Yan immediately dialed Elder Liang's communicator and waited anxiously. After about 10 breaths, a familiar and nervous voice came from the other side of the communicator. "Su Yan, I'm Lu Qingtian. What's the situation now? Is the female Azura with you? You must ensure her safety. Before the truth comes to light, don't show your face. When the dean comes out of seclusion, he will definitely find out the truth and give the female Azura justice. Remember, don't come out." Su Yan quickly told him what Su Bingshuang told him. Lu Qingtian said angrily, "I knew something was going on. With Zhu Yan's selfish nature, he wouldn't leak the news of Emperor Qin's tomb. I guessed right. You better hide obediently." Lu Qingtian hurriedly hung up the communicator. The situation was very bad. Although he could appease a group of experts in the school, it didn't mean that the other forces would listen to them. The news that Zhu Yan released was too shocking. Countless forces, big and small, had already found the location of Emperor Qin's tomb. What kind of treasures are there in the tomb of Qin Shi Huang? Is it worth Zhu Yan to create such a bloody incident? Su Yan's face was ugly. Zhu Yan had too many things. If he hadn't taken away his fortune, Zhu Yan's strength would be unimaginable. Suddenly, a fishy smell came from the cave. Su Yan's face changed. His primordial spirit sensed that a hunting dog was running towards them from 1,000 meters away. Its body was extremely large, and its scarlet eyes were staring at the Beast King's cave where Su Yan was hiding. "This is a Lord-class hunting dog. Damn it." Su Yan's expression changed in shock. When wave after wave of extremely turbulent auras pressed down, silver divine flames gushed out from the horizon, burning countless ancient trees to ashes. A nearby waterfall instantly evaporated. The source was a pair of silver eyes surrounded by 2 balls of silver divine flames. It was so hot that it could burn the void. Not good. "Big brother, run." Su Bingshuang's face changed. She said anxiously, "Tong Huiyin is here." "What? Tong Huiyin?" Yuan Hong, Tong Huiyin, Xia Zhe, Yi Yuan, and Su Bingshuang were the top 10 experts of the Huaxia Alliance. Tong Huiyin was born with a fire attribute treasure body, and his battle prowess was extremely strong. Su Bingshuang was very clear that during the dark age of the Huaxia Alliance, Tong Huiyin had joined Zhu Yan's faction. Su Yan wanted to leave, but it was already too late. Tong Huiyin had already seen the scene inside the Beast King's cave. His silver pupils burned with divine flames, flashing with a scorching luster as they locked onto Su Bingshuang's stunning face. His aura was extremely powerful, as if a silver god had appeared here, high and mighty, overlooking the heaven and earth. His appearance was also very handsome, and could be considered young. He wore a robe that shone with silver light. I didn't expect that the famous Shura of the Huaxia Alliance would look like a beautiful girl. What a surprise! Tong Huiyin had a noble temperament. His natural silver pupils were surrounded by flames as he seriously inspected Su Bingshuang's graceful figure. He commented, "Your figure is also of the highest quality." What a surprise! The name Shura doesn't match you at all. Tong Huiyin, one of the top 10 experts of the Huaxia Alliance, is actually working under Zhu Yan. I've really learned something. Su Yan stared coldly at Tong Huiyin, trying to stall for time. Tong Huiyin ignored Su Yan and was still unscrupulously inspecting Su Bingshuang's figure. He chuckled and said, "It's a waste to give such a good prey to Zhu Yan. What do you think, Shura? Trash like you wants to be on the same level as my teacher?" Su Yan said coldly. Tong Huiyin's expression slowly turned cold. His bright silver pupils finally locked onto Su Yan. His handsome face flashed with a hint of ruthlessness as he said coldly, "Little worm, even the martial god doesn't dare to speak to me like this. But you've got guts. However, I won't kill you. When Zhu Yan cuts off the martial god's head, I'd like to see who else dares to stand up for you. Little worm, I think my teacher can kill you with one punch." Su Yan replied coldly. "You're courting death." Tong Huiyin's face was faintly ferocious. His aura instantly blazed. For a moment, silver light filled the sky. His body was like a sea of fire, spewing out silver flames that burned through the layers of vacuum. The rolling silver flames also rolled in Su Yan's direction. Roar! The hibernating beast king at the entrance trembled. It couldn't withstand Tong Huiyin's aura at all. Under the silver flames, it was burned to ashes. Boom! Tong Huiyin also leaped over like a bolt of lightning and stood amidst the silver flames. At this moment, he truly looked like a heavenly deity overlooking the rivers and mountains. The silver flames followed his roar and surged towards the Beast King cave. His silver pupils stared at Su Bingshuang's beautiful figure wrapped in black clothes. He smiled lecherously. "I'd like to see what's inside." Su Yan clenched his fist. His blood was boiling with anger. He was trying his best to restrain himself. Su Bingshuang's eyes were also very cold. After 100 years of bloodshed, her willpower and self-control weren't something that ordinary people could compare to. The brother and sister had lived together for more than 10 years. They knew what to do next with just a glance. What a powerful flame! Su Yan could clearly feel that the Beast King cave was melting. Under the devouring of the silver flames, even the stone walls were melting. The blazing temperature was enough to burn the blood and chi of some life spring expert. Just as the silver flames were about to engulf the two of them, Su Bingshuang's eyes shone with a divine light. Within her body, the sound of ancient scriptures resounded. It was as if an ancient saint was chanting in her life spring. "Brother, look. This is our family's cultivation technique, the Saint Origin Scripture." Su Bingshuang's weak aura climbed to the peak at lightning speed. A large amount of powder fell from her jade-like hands. She had absorbed a total of 5 Origin Essence Stones, allowing herself to stand at the peak for a short period of time. Saint Origin Hand. Su Bingshuang stood up. Her clothes fluttered in the wind. Her beauty was peerless. When she raised her jade-like hands, her entire palm was filled with the chanting of a saint. Her entire palm rapidly enlarged. It was as if, when cultivated to the peak, it could encompass the starry sky and shake the stars in the sky. Boom! Su Bingshuang's jade-like hands covered the sky. The moment they chopped down, they tore apart the silver flames. This palm instantly struck towards Tong Huiyin. One! Tong Huiyin's silver pupils widened angrily. He felt a sense of danger. He was about to be crushed by the Saint Origin Hand. However, he was not ordinary. His life spring was fully opened. A silver furnace was floating within it, burning. This was the eruption of his weapon-building cultivation. He drove the silver furnace to collide with the gigantic hand that covered the sky. Boom! The ground within a 1-mile radius was overturned. Everything was crushed. The moment the gigantic hand and the silver furnace collided, the heavens fell and the earth cracked. The silver flames that filled the sky were once again shattered. The silver furnace was bombarded until it trembled. Every tremble caused Tong Huiyin's life spring to tremble. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He was shocked. The strength of the female Azura was beyond his expectations. However, the fire in his eyes became even more intense. He laughed out loud. What a female Azura! It is my, Tong Hui's, good fortune to have you. He roared and used all his strength. Silver flames surged all over his body as he desperately blocked the female Azura's attacks. Su Bingshuang's aura rapidly weakened. Her injuries were too serious. In the end, she gritted her teeth and used all her strength to increase the power of the Saint Origin hand. PFFF. Tong Huiyin and Su Bingshuang coughed out blood at the same time. A palm print appeared on Tong Huiyin's protective armor. This made him look ferocious. If it weren't for the armor, his injuries would have been very serious. Female Azura, I will punish you severely. Tong Huiyin suddenly rushed over. His hair was disheveled as he raised his hand to strike at Su Yan. His eyes were fixed on Su Bingshuang. Just as this hand was getting closer and closer to Su Yan's face changed. A terrifying aura suddenly erupted from Su Yan's eyes. It was as if a giant monster was awakening. The moment the Genesis Sutra was activated, Dao Ling's physical body, life spring, and Yuan's spirit all erupted to the extreme. Kill! He roared. The moment the Alcade Fist was activated, the entire Beast King cave exploded. Boom! The fist landed squarely on Tong Huiyin's palm. Monstrous golden starlight covered Tong Huiyin's entire body. Ah! Tong Huiyin let out a mournful howl. His entire palm had been shattered into pieces by Su Yan's punch, and half of his arm had exploded. The beam of light from the Alcade Fist had also sent him flying, and he fell heavily to the ground. Bastard, my hand, ah! Tong Huiyin was terrified. He still couldn't believe that Su Yan's close combat strength was so abnormal. He had taken him by surprise and suffered a great loss. Su Yan was also trembling. Blood seeped out of his pores. When he was hammering Tong Huiyin, he felt the terrifying aura in Tong Huiyin's body. If Tong Huiyin had focused on him just now, Su Yan might have been killed. The weapon-building realm was too strong. Once one stepped into this realm, their life spring would be like a powerful killing machine. Su Yan got up without saying a word. He quickly picked up Su Bingshuang and rushed into the depths of the forest like lightning. How embarrassing! I won't be able to stand up for a while. Big brother, let's go, let's go. Su Bingshuang's eyes flickered. Leave it to me. Rest well. With Big Brother here, no one can hurt you in the future. Su Yan was very calm. He put Su Bingshuang into the phoenix hairpin and rushed into the depths of the forest like lightning. Su Yan. As soon as he left, the entire area had almost turned into a sea of silver flames. Tong Huiyin was like a crazed beast. He had never suffered such a great loss. He was equally famous as the martial god, but now his arm had been broken by the martial god's disciple. The strength of Su Yan's body had far exceeded Tong Huiyin's expectations. I'll kill you! The clouds in the sky were burned away. Billowing silver flames rushed in the direction Su Yan had fled. Tong Huiyin roared. He opened his mouth and spat out a silver furnace. It broke through the layers of space and smashed towards Su Yan. The silver furnace locked onto Su Yan's body. Let's see where you can run. Chapter 92. The silver furnace spewed out billowing silver flames, burning the mountain rocks to the point of cracking. What was this? This was Tong Huiyin's natal artifact. In the tool-building realm, one must forge a natal artifact. The stronger the natal artifact, the stronger one's combat strength would be. This silver furnace was like a large volcano. It dived forward for several miles, burning through the vacuum, burning the forest to the point where not even a blade of grass remained. Boom! The silver furnace released an extremely strong locking power, locking down Su Yan's body. At this moment, Su Yan felt as if his legs were filled with lead, his movements extremely slow. Ah! Su Yan faced the sky and roared. His hair danced in the wind as the blood in his body boiled. His limbs began to stretch out, his body like a furnace. When the Origin Sutra was activated to the extreme, Su Yan was like a true dragon, smashing through all blockades. Even if the silver furnace's power was strong, it would still be difficult to lock down Su Yan from such a distance. Boom! Su Yan tore through the blockades and leapt forward. His legs bent and he rose from the ground, crushing the earth beneath him. He broke through the clouds and mist as he leapt towards a large mountain. The moment he landed, the entire mountain began to faintly tremble. What powerful strength! He must have cultivated a peerless heavenly technique. This technique is mine, and the beauty is also mine. Tong Huiyin was not angry but happy. How could Su Yan escape from his grasp? He was one of the 10 great powerhouses of the Chinese alliance. Even if he was injured, he felt that catching up to Su Yan would not be a problem. Kiki, you can't escape. Tong Huiyin rapidly closed in on Su Yan, bringing with him the power to burn mountains and boil seas. The confrontation in the mountain forest had already alarmed the troops searching for Su Yan. They all began to rapidly close in on their target. It's Tong Huiyin. Haha, Su Yan is dead for sure. With the 10 great powerhouses personally chasing after Su Yan, I want to see where he can run to. Even if he has 3 lives, it won't be enough. Send me a signal immediately and chase after Su Yan. Remember, he must survive. There were at least 1,000 of Zhu Yan's subordinates within the radius of a few dozen miles. All of them rushed out at the same time, chasing after Su Yan. There were also people in front of Su Yan. After receiving the signal, they quickly closed in on Su Yan to block his path. Su Yan, where do you think you're going? Stay here obediently. More than 10 people rushed out from the front and collided with Su Yan. However, the excitement on their faces did not last long as fear crept onto their faces. The shadow that was charging at him from the opposite side could be said to be an enraged dragon going berserk. Its body rippled with the loud roars of tigers and dragons. Those who block me shall die. Su Yan's eyes shone brightly. As his spine rose and fell, his blood essence surged, transforming into a giant dragon-shaped pillar that shot out from his body and pierced through the sky. No. More than 10 cultivators roared in fear. Their scalps were numb and their guts were about to shatter. The strength that Su Yan erupted with was too tyrannical. It shattered the sky and was simply unstoppable. The huge dragon-shaped pillar pierced through several thousand meters, causing the dozen or so cultivators to tremble and begin to collapse. They were crushed by Su Yan's strength and exploded into a large cloud of blood mist. This savage scene caused the troops chasing after Su Yan to feel their hair stand on end. They had almost forgotten that Su Yan currently had the strength to kill a 9th heavenly layer life spring martial artist. How many people below the tool-building realm could block Su Yan? Bastard! Tong Huiyin was enraged. At this time, he took out a flaming spear and slashed it towards Su Yan's direction. Billowing waves of flames swept out, as if they were capable of splitting apart a mountain. Su Yan fiercely leapt forward. His explosive strength was astonishing. Every time he raised his hand, it emitted the force of 10,000 horses galloping forward. His strength was strong and vigorous. He suddenly leapt up, avoiding the flaming spear's attack. He looked back at Tong Huiyin and sneered, "Brat, if you have the ability, then catch up to me. When I catch you, I'll cut you into 1,000 pieces. A piece of trash like you won't be able to escape from my grasp." Tong Huiyin was enraged to the extreme. This was a naked provocation, causing the corners of his eyes to almost crack. "I, Su Yan, have only cultivated for a few years. You, a piece of trash who has cultivated for 100 years, can't even catch up to a piece of trash like me who has only cultivated for a few years? Don't you think that's ridiculous? Calling you a piece of trash is too much of a compliment." Su Yan's mocking voice rang out in the mountain forest. The group of people were petrified. Su Yan's courage was too great. He even dared to provoke one of the top 10 powerhouses. Tong Huiyin was not someone that Jiang Wuhan could compare with. But when they thought about it, Su Yan had indeed only cultivated for a few years, but Tong Huiyin had cultivated for a full 100 years. Tong Hui's handsome face was so pale that it almost turned purple. He fiercely said, "Give me some time. I'll let you know the consequences of angering me. If you give me a few years, it won't be as simple as losing an arm. I'll kill you like slaughtering a dog." Su Yan's domineering response spread out in all directions. Only now did they notice that Tong Huiyin was missing an arm. It was actually done by Su Yan. This caused them to suck in a breath of cold air. This was a bit abnormal. "You shut up for me." Tong Huiyin was enraged. His aura completely erupted. He revolved his strongest strength to the limit, causing the surrounding several miles to rumble and many ancient trees to explode. The crazed Tong Huiyin had enough divine might to overturn several miles of land. This was especially true when his silver furnace revived. Waves of destructive strength swept towards Su Yan. Tong Huiyin has gone crazy. He doesn't hesitate to consume his own life spring source to kill Su Yan. If you don't seek death, then you won't die. Su Yan only cares about his mouth, but he's completely forgotten that Tong Huiyin's cultivation is at the artifact building realm. Once he goes crazy, he can tear apart a peak beast king. The commotion was shocking, and the ground within a radius of more than 10 miles was burned to the point of caving in. Isn't this a bit too much? How can this brat be so impatient? Su Yan felt as if he had fallen into a volcano. His blood vitality was faintly drying up. Behind him, thousands of layers of silver flames would soon cover his entire body. At that time, no matter how strong he was, it would be difficult for him to escape. But Su Yan showed no fear. Just as the silver flames were about to engulf him, Su Yan's feet suddenly emitted array runes. When he was running away and attacking with all his strength, his grasp of the terrain had risen to a whole new level. Now, under Tong Huiyin's pressure, Su Yan activated the power of the array formation and activated the Genesis brush. The power radiating out was able to stir up the power of the terrain. At this moment, Su Yan discovered that his body had fused together with the earth. As he sensed the existence of the earth vein energy, he let out a loud laugh. Just like Tu Xingxuan, he leapt over 1,000 meters. Just as he left, the ground was scorched black and large cracks appeared in the ground. "Ha ha ha, I want to see where you can run off to." Tong Huiyin also laughed. He swooped down like a bolt of lightning. But when he saw the empty scorched earth, his complexion instantly turned extremely ugly. He looked up and saw Su Yan standing 1,000 meters away, sneering at him as if saying that he was no good. "Bastard, I'll take your life." Tong Huiyin almost went mad with anger. He brandished his flame spear and slashed out. "Let's see if you have the ability." Su Yan's heart was as calm as still water. It was as if he was standing between the heavens and earth. He once again stirred up the earth vein energy and leapt 1,000 meters forward. This strange speed could be called shrinking the earth into an inch. Su Yan's speed was astonishing. He was like a ghost, faintly discernible in and out of the forest, drifting erratically. This bastard, just what kind of supernatural power did he cultivate? Tong Huiyin's face paled. He had never seen such a strange movement technique. Just how did Su Yan do it? Su Yan was like a dragon returning to the sea, passing through the forest. The more earth vein energy he sensed, the more abnormal Su Yan's speed became. He couldn't help but laugh. His understanding of the path of the mystic arts was even stranger. When he was strong enough, he would be able to control the dragon vein energy. What Tong Huiyin? Even Zu Yan would be able to suppress him. The earth is thick and the virtue is boundless. Su Yan whispered in his heart. The more earth vein energy he sensed, the more he could understand the vastness of the earth and the boundless energy it contained. This was the earth vein energy. A person's feet were like the source of the earth. Su Yan walked on the earth vein energy like an immortal. The more earth vein energy he could control, the more vast the territory he could cross. Perhaps one day, Su Yan's cultivation of the mystic arts would reach an extremely profound level. He would be able to take a step forward and appear on the other side of the earth. Then what would happen after that? Grasping the power of the heavens, comprehending the power of the heavens, and the power of the stars, he would be able to cross galaxies in the starry sky. This was the embodiment of great supernatural power. It's all thanks to the source seed. Su Yan sighed. With Su Yan's strength, it was very difficult for him to communicate with the earth vein energy. But the source brush was different. The source brush contained the laws of heaven and earth. It could help Su Yan communicate with the earth vein energy in advance. He felt that he had enough resources and needed to nurture the source brush. Tong Huiyin was still unwilling to give up and continued to chase Su Yan. But as he chased, his face became gloomy. He knew that if he continued forward, he would enter the ominous demon cave. The earth vein energy is changing? Su Yan gradually discovered that the earth vein energy was decreasing and even contained an extremely ominous aura. His expression changed drastically as he looked into the distance. It was as if he was looking at a gigantic blood-red demon that was about to rise from the ground. The ominous ground. Su Yan was shocked. He had just seen the 9 dragons locking the heavens layout that had never been seen before. Now, he saw the ominous ground. This made Su Yan astonished. The 2 completely opposite terrains were almost in the same place. He looked at the terrain and his expression became more and more solemn. It was as if he could see the ominous ground appearing and millions of creatures would turn into pus and blood. Su Yan felt a chill down his spine. This was a peerless, ominous ground. Anyone who entered would die. Su Yan even sensed that there were many traces of life in the distance. He looked over and found that the blood-red, ominous ground was bustling with people. Cultivators from all walks of life had gathered here. Is this Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum? Su Yan's heart skipped a beat. It must be. Apart from Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum, where else could so many cultivators gather? He did not expect so many people to come. Once Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum opened, these people would be buried with him. Boom! The ground trembled faster and the earth vein energy was completely devoured. Su Yan's hair stood on end. Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum was about to open. Chapter 93. The sky shook and the earth trembled. Everything within a radius of a few hundred miles was undulating. There were at least tens of thousands of cultivators gathered in this area. They were all panicking. When a series of muffled explosions rang out, blood-red cracks appeared on the ground. Within a radius of a few hundred miles, it seemed as if it was going to collapse. Even the mountains were sinking down one after another. The scene was horrifying. The land within a few hundred miles had become a plain that was about to collapse. The cracks were emitting blood-red light. It was demonic and strange. It was also at this moment that a wisp of terror arose in the hearts of everyone. It was as if a terrifying hand had stretched out from the ground and grabbed their hearts. Ah! Someone screamed in fear and trembled. It wasn't just one person. Many cultivators fell to the ground and rolled around. Their hearts were twisting and they were suffocating. No! A large number of cultivators screamed in fear. Their hearts burst and their bodies exploded into a bloody mist. Their blood poured down like a waterfall and poured onto the ground. The people around were dumbfounded. Their brains short-circuited and their eyes trembled. Some people's faces were filled with fear. They rolled and crawled away, wanting to leave this place. Boom! However, the land within a few hundred miles suddenly rumbled. When the blood of the dead cultivators flowed into the cracks, the land within a few hundred miles seemed to be uprooted from the ground. It emitted a monstrous blood-red light that pierced through the sky. Ah! Another large number of cultivators screamed. They were penetrated by the blood-red light from the cracks and turned into pus and blood, sprinkling into the cracks. This is the demonic land. Run, run. The survivors were all terrified. Their scalps were numb and their guts were torn apart. They ran for their lives. However, the demonic land's recovery was extremely shocking. Thousands of blood-red lights spewed out and pierced through the sky. At this moment, the entire 10 bases of the Huaxia Alliance saw the blood-red light from the 9th base. It was as if a sea of blood was pressing down on the starry sky. "Oh my God, look! What is that?" The various forces gathered at the 9th base saw the scene in the wilderness. Lu Qingtian's hair stood on end and his face was solemn. He didn't know how many people had died. Although he had issued countless warnings, the various forces didn't believe him and rushed over. What a ruthless Zhu Yan! Old Liang's face was deathly pale. He knew very well that the dead cultivators belonged to Zhu Yan's forces. In order to open Emperor Qin's mausoleum, Zhu Yan had put in a lot of effort. He had even used the forces under his command as chess pieces. He did not care about the lives of these people at all. Run! The devil earth within a radius of a few hundred miles was like a blood-red monster awakening. This was especially true for a certain area that had a bloody crack on it. It was rippling with a destructive aura that was like the mouth of a ferocious beast. The aura it was emitting made everyone feel great fear. "Look, it's Su Yan. He's courting death. How dare he come here? Who knows how many people died when the demonic lands awakened? The tomb of the #1 emperor of all times is not to be touched." Just as these people were retreating for their lives, they saw a young man rushing towards them, and they were all shocked. Su Yan was also madly rushing forward without regard for his life, but his destination was the opposite of these people. "Where do you think you're going?" At this moment, a one-armed man rushed over. Tong Huiyin's cold eyes stared at Su Yan as he let out an angry laugh. "Let's see where else you can run to? You're surrounded by areas. Even a martial god can't protect you. Su Yan is dead for sure. Tong Huiyin wants to kill him." When they saw Su Yan's destination, these people were shocked. Tong Huiyin's expression slowly turned ugly. He wanted to personally capture Su Yan, dig out the scriptures he cultivated, and even capture the female Azura alive. However, Su Yan was currently charging towards the fiercest region. In front of Su Yan was the largest blood-colored crack. It stretched for hundreds of miles. It was like a blood-colored abyss that could devour everything. "The gate of blood sacrifice has been opened. I want to see what treasures are in Emperor Qin's mausoleum," Su Yan said excitedly in his heart. His eyes stared unblinkingly at the bloody abyss. It looked like an extremely terrifying devil's den, but in Su Yan's eyes, the devil's den's operation contained a certain order of laws. When it operated, it even communicated with the laws of heaven and earth that were born on earth. At this moment, dense blood-colored array marks flashed within the blood-colored crack. This was a giant ancient array in operation. Su Yan's primordial spirit surveyed the area. Everything within a few hundred miles appeared in his sea of consciousness. In Su Yan's sea of consciousness, a huge array diagram appeared. Bloody light filled the sky as the array marks intersected. It gathered the laws of heaven and earth and evolved into a killing array. Without a doubt, an expert who could set up such a killing array was definitely an extremely powerful person. As one, Su Yan could see some of the principles within. He speculated that the bloody abyss was the heart of the array. It was a land of death, but it was also a land of life. "It's about to open." Su Yan clenched his fist. At this moment, the laws of heaven and earth within a few hundred miles formed an ancient array. At the moment of awakening, it gathered the power of the blood sacrifice from all over and gathered towards the bloody abyss. In Su Yan's eyes, this bloody abyss was a bloody door. Once it was opened, he could step into Emperor Qin's mausoleum. 50 great Daos, 49 heaven, one of them. Mystical array Dao, mystical escape Dao, mystical arts master. To be able to set up such a killing array, his mastery of mystical arts has reached the pinnacle. Su Yan's fortune has come. Ha ha ha! At this moment, the bloody door was already infinitely terrifying. It spewed out bloody light that filled the sky. It was like tens of thousands of bloody sword embryos, slaying all experts who stepped into the killing array. Madman, he's rushing in. Before everyone's eyes, Su Yen stepped on the ground. One step after another, he avoided the bloody array marks formed by the laws of heaven and earth. After taking 49 consecutive steps, Su Yen leapt up like a golden-winged rock. He leapt up like lightning and jumped into the bloody abyss. The spectators were petrified. Unlike what they had experienced, Su Yen had run in unscathed. They did not see the scene of Su Yen being killed and turned into ashes. Emperor Qin's mausoleum. Su Yen has entered Emperor Qin's mausoleum. The mausoleum of the first emperor of all times. There must be a peerless fortune. Someone roared excitedly. They followed closely behind Su Yen, wanting to force their way into Emperor Qin's mausoleum. They also followed Su Yan's footsteps and avoided the strange blood-colored lines on the ground to avoid dying on the way. A large number of cultivators rushed over, like thousands of cannonballs crashing into the bloody door. But what made the people following behind turn pale was that a large number of cultivators were annihilated the moment they touched the bloody abyss. They turned into pus and blood that sprinkled into the bloody door. How can this be? Fear crept onto their faces. Let them not dare to act rashly without thinking while they were fighting. But Tong Huiyin discovered that someone had succeeded. So that's how it is. His silver eyes lit up on the spot. He rushed up in an instant, leaping towards the node that Su Yen had rushed into the first time. When Tong Huiyin successfully passed through the bloody door, the people behind him finally reacted. They rushed in without thinking and entered Emperor Qin's mausoleum. Su Yen had just entered Emperor Qin's mausoleum when he was stunned by the scene in front of him. What a terrifying place! He was tongue-tied. This was a huge underground palace. The moment he arrived, he felt endless majesty and domineering aura. It was as if he had come to a palace and met an emperor. The underground palace was huge and boundless. It was unknown how it was built. In the periphery of the underground palace, there were 49 bloody dragon pillars on the ground. Every dragon pillar was densely covered with bloody array marks. They were densely packed, as if they were carved with billions of bloody array marks. They were enough to trigger the power of the laws of heaven and earth. These dragon pillars are carved from rare ores. This is a super-powerful killing array. Earth's laws of heaven and earth have just awakened. If Earth's laws of heaven and earth were terrifying enough, no one would be able to barge in. These 49 dragon pillars, at their strongest state, are enough to slaughter experts. With Earth's current cultivation level, even if all the experts on Earth gathered together, they still wouldn't be able to open Emperor Qin's mausoleum. I'm in luck. With such a powerful killing array guarding the entrance, there must be a world-shaking treasure hidden inside. Su Yen observed excitedly. However, he did not rush up to move the dragon pillars. He was very clear that if he were to rashly move the array here, the heaven-defying power of the laws of heaven and earth would scatter down and definitely tear him to pieces. Such a powerful array could only be suppressed and taken away by expert. With Su Yan's current strength, it was impossible for him to move the 49 dragon pillars. Motherf ***, this is mine. No one can take it away. Just leave it here. Su Yen glared fiercely at the giant dragon pillars. After all, he was the only one on Earth with special abilities. Only those with special abilities could hope to take away this kind of array secret treasure. At this time, a shadow flew in from the door. Oh no, someone is coming. Su Yen quickly rushed into the underground palace. He was anxious. The dragon totem had fallen into a deep slumber. Now, even its treasure-hunting ability had disappeared. This made Su Yen very angry. If the dragon totem had erupted earlier, it should have been able to kill Su Yen with one punch. How could there be so many problems? What should I do? Continue to rush in? But with my strength, I'm afraid it will be difficult to take away many treasures. Su Yen thought frantically. Suddenly, he had lost the dragon totem's treasure-hunting ability. He had never even been to the ancient ruins. Su Yen did not know what to do. Suddenly, an idea flashed in Su Yan's mind. His sharp eyes looked at the 49 giant pillars. 50 great daos, 49 heavenly divinations, 1 escapes. This special ability expert must have left behind some rules. The escapes must be the place where the fortune is hidden. What a powerful mystical sect master. You can be considered as my senior. I wonder if old ancestor has left me, your disciple, some good fortune? In this huge underground palace, there were 49 giant pillars. Each of them was as majestic as the heavens. Su Yen observed the general trend of heaven and earth, searching for dragons and veins. Finally, he locked onto the position where the 50th giant pillar could have been placed. It's here. Su Yen looked at the sky and found that there was a different fluctuation in the air. I'll risk it. This underground palace is definitely not easy to break into. Why don't I take a look at the treasures left behind by this ancient special ability expert? Sensing that a large group of cultivators had broken in, Su Yen gritted his teeth. His heart was filled with determination. Stepping on the ground, he suddenly soared into the air. This leap was tens of thousands of meters long. He was like a god soaring into the sky. Faintly, Su Yen felt a weak force. Chapter 94. Breaking news. Emperor Qin's tomb has been opened. The news spread throughout Huaxia University. Countless photos were like ticking time bombs, exploding in the Huaxia Alliance. An earth-shattering storm swept across. What is this? This is an ancient ruin that represents the future. Countless cultivators rushed out of Base 9. The entire wilderness area of Base 9 experienced an earthquake. All the beast kings and strong cultivators quickly gathered towards Emperor Qin's tomb. Charge in! Lu Qingtian made a prompt decision and led hundreds of strong cultivators into Emperor Qin's tomb. Yes, Emperor Qin's tomb was a demon's den. However, Zhu Yen spent so much effort to open it. Zhu Yen would definitely enter the tomb. Lu Qingtian and the rest wouldn't give up on this opportunity. Of course, they didn't send many people, but these hundreds of strong cultivators were all battle-hardened cultivators. Xiaozhe, on the other hand, had been trying to break through. He was now the pillar of Huaxia College. Only when he rose could he take control of the situation, stabilize Huaxia College, intimidate the world, and deter the army of beasts. Get lost! A loud roar shattered the mountains. Zhu Yan's anger was like a hot knife through butter, blasting away all the bloody light beams. He and the purple-robed old man worked together to suppress the power of the blood spear. The martial god was sent flying and coughed out a mouthful of blood. Zhu Yan didn't stop. He quickly rushed towards Emperor Qin's tomb. If he was late, there would be nothing left. You wanna leave? Have you asked for my permission? The martial god replied coldly. He brandished the blood spear, making heaven and earth tremble. It immediately struck towards Zhu Yan. After all, if he could block Zhu Yan for a while, the situation in Emperor Qin's tomb would be much better. At least they wouldn't be wiped out by Zhu Yan. Yuan knew Zhu Yan too well. If he opened the ancient ruin, others wouldn't even be able to drink the soup. All the good things would be taken away by him. There were already many cultivators in Emperor Qin's tomb. There were no less than 1,000 of them. However, the bloody scene made Lu Qingtian and the rest furious. The situation was out of control. Many people would die for the treasure. Bloody and ferocious. The faces of a few young experts who had just emerged were deathly pale. Many of them went crazy, all of them fighting each other over the treasures. Who didn't want to become stronger? Who didn't want to have a longer lifespan? Who didn't want to have more inheritances? The rules of the Huaxia Alliance seemed to have lost their effectiveness. This was exactly what Lu Qingtian and the others were worried about. When the time came, the Huaxia alliance would fall into chaos. They needed experts to suppress the chaos and establish order so that the Huaxia alliance could develop steadily. The underground palace of Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum was dyed red with blood because they had discovered many precious treasures. There were all kinds of ancient scriptures and weapons. There were even some great medicines that had taken root in some areas. Where is Su Yan? Anger burned in Tong Huiyin's heart. Su Yan seemed to have disappeared. As he searched, Tong Huiyin also joined the treasure-hunting army. He excavated the various regions of the Great Earth Palace and seized all kinds of ancient treasures that were unearthed. As for Su Yan, he was going through a very special journey. It was as if Su Yan had barged into a great world of gods and devils. Just as he had barged in, that terrifying source almost scared him out of his wits. Ah! Su Yan roared towards the sky. His eyes were vertical and his invincible spirit erupted. In an instant, the fear in his heart was crushed. His eyes saw through the layers of illusions. Dong dong dong. Divine sounds that penetrated the heavens and earth exploded in Su Yan's ears. This was an indescribable scene. It was as if an ancient river of time had crossed over, emitting a terrifying aura that overflowed the heavens. Countless stars were rumbling as they rotated. One after another, the vast rivers of stars were shifting their positions. The source was mysterious and unfathomable. It was unknown whether this was a phenomenon, some kind of scene, or some kind of supreme treasure attacking. In short, this phenomenon caused the vast universe to rumble and tremble. Everything was about to be completely destroyed by the aura that was rushing over. Boom! The universe rose and fell. The heavenly secrets were mixed up. The sun and the moon fell. Everything was about to be destroyed, including Su Yan. However, when a cauldron appeared in the sky, it pierced through the heavens and supported the earth. It supported the chaotic world and spewed out billions of flames of life. Its appearance seemed to represent order and the supreme law of heaven and earth. The cauldron was majestic and vast. It was even breathing. When it breathed, the universe rumbled. Primordial essence flowed in reverse and fell into the cauldron. This cauldron seemed to be seizing the fortune of heaven and earth to refine a rare golden pill. What a terrifying treasure! Is this the fortune inside? Su Yan was scared. The heaven stabilizer bell couldn't compare to him at all. Was this a supreme treasure of the universe? It was so terrifying that it shook the universe. Even the Tower of Trials couldn't be compared to this cauldron. Su Yan stared at the bronze cauldron in a daze. It descended at a seemingly slow speed, but in reality, it was as if it had traversed an endless galaxy and finally arrived here. It emitted a might that could pierce through the celestial dome and slowly press down on Su Yan. Ah! Su Yan roared angrily. His body was about to collapse and explode into pieces. This was the pain of having his body and soul destroyed. Su Yan was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. Every minute and second felt as long as a century. Blood flowed out of his forehead and sprinkled on the cauldron. Detection, human bloodline, meets the requirements for master recognition. The cauldron was filled with an ancient will. It seemed that Su Yan would be killed as long as his bloodline didn't meet the requirements. Detection, bloodline, Yan Huang bloodline, meets the requirements for master recognition. The ancient will appeared again. Detection, Yan Huang bloodline, transcendent bloodline, grade unknown. The inheritor meets the requirement. There is no need to take the test. Directly passed. This terrifying will. After these voices, the pressure of the cauldron slowly dissipated, leaving Su Yan in a daze. Yan Huang bloodline, transcendent bloodline? He was confused. What test was this? How did he pass without taking the test? What was going on? In shock, Su Yan's eyes flashed with excitement. Could it be that this cauldron needed to take the test to recognize its master? Now that his bloodline met the requirements, he could get this cauldron? Thinking about it, Su Yan's blood boiled. The ancestor had left him a heaven-defying fortune. Boom! While Su Yan was in a daze, the cauldron once again vibrated with the ancient will. In front of this shocking will, Su Yan's primordial spirit showed signs of shattering. He clenched his fists, withstanding the endless pressure, trying hard to open his eyes. At this moment, Su Yan's heart was sobbing. He saw a blurry and huge human face appear between the heavens and the earth. It contained an incomparable fluctuation. It was as if the face of the heavens had appeared here. What a terrifying existence! Su Yan's breathing quickened. He was suffocating. In front of this kind of existence, he didn't have the qualifications to resist. The huge blurry face filled the void. It was like the face of a god. It was impossible to see its face clearly. Its eyes stared at Su Yan. "Examinee, why don't you kneel when you see me?" Suddenly, an ancient and deafening sound exploded. It was as if it had come from the ancient times. This caused Su Yan to be stunned. Could it be that the owner of the treasured cauldron was still alive? Or was the cauldron a treasure of an ancient expert? Junior Su Yan greets Senior. Su Yan bowed and said, "Senior wants me to kneel. Do you want me to acknowledge you as my master?" Muffled thunder faintly exploded in the void. This huge face was blurry and mysterious. It said indifferently, "Which of my disciples isn't a peerless genius? A genius who looks down on the universe. You certainly have the qualifications to recognize the cauldron as its master, but whether or not you have the qualifications to become my disciple, you still need to accept the next step of the test." "I am willing to accept all the tests." Su Yan was puzzled. Didn't the cauldron say that the test was over? Why did he accept the test again? Su Yan's eyes suddenly shrank. He faintly felt that something was wrong. "Before the test, I have some things to clarify. If you become my disciple, you must do 3 things for me." His voice was very loud and deafening, like thunder exploding. "These 3 things are not difficult, but they are not easy either. When you have enough strength, you must complete them. As long as it doesn't violate my bottom line, I am willing." Su Yan spoke without hesitation. He wanted to see what would happen next. "The first thing is that I have already fallen. This is the spiritual will I left behind to teach you." The huge face spoke slowly. "When you have enough strength, you must avenge me." Su Yan sensed boundless anger coming at him. He shuddered. An existence that could kill such a powerhouse? How powerful was it? "Senior, my current cultivation is very weak. When the day comes that I become a strong person, I will do my best to complete it and help you seek justice." Su Yan spoke once again. The huge face seemed to be very dissatisfied with Su Yan's answer. Countless storms of divine power faintly rolled out between heaven and earth, accompanied by hundreds of millions of rays of light that exploded here. When Su Yan raised his head to look, his expression slowly froze. The storm of treasure light filled the sky, as if hundreds of millions of treasures were falling from the sky. Su Yan was petrified, and his whole body was trembling. First, he saw mountains of origin essence stones piled up together. There were no less than millions of them piled up together and filled the air with terrifying divine essence. Su Yan was dumbstruck. He was shocked like never before. His blood was boiling. Countless ancient treasures were piled up together like trash. Countless types of great medicines and rare sacred medicines floated in the void like cabbages. There were so many treasures that he couldn't count them all. When it comes to cultivating disciples, I am not in the top 10. But when it comes to resources, I have so many resources that you can't count them all. Although I have fallen, as long as you become my disciple, you can inherit my legacy." This voice contained a fatal temptation. There were too many treasures in the sky, too many to count. Su Yan's eyes were red. He clenched his fists like Dali and breathed heavily. Who could resist this temptation? Who could? However, he also had doubts in his heart. Wasn't this too easy? Was there really such a good thing as a free lunch in the sky? Of course. The huge face spoke again. My resources are not something you can take away just because you want to. I see that your physical body's potential is not bad, so I can give you 3 treasures first to increase your strength and complete the test that I left behind. 3 treasures. Su Yen was looking forward to what it would take out. The first treasure is enough to let you be reborn. Now, you have to force out the waste blood in your body. After swallowing it, you can refine dragon blood in your body. Only then can you cultivate the supreme true dragon technique that I created. Boom. At this moment, an ancient jar floated down from the sky. The moment it was opened, tens of thousands of rays of scarlet light shot out. It was as if a jar of sacred blood had been opened and a beam of blood essence gushed out. Su Yan's blood was boiling and his blood vessels were rumbling. He wanted to absorb this substance. This is dragon blood? Su Yen cried out in surprise. His body was reacting on its own, so it should be real. He saw thousands of little true dragons gushing out from the jar. They were vivid and lifelike, and they were all suffused with powerful blood essence fluctuations. The aura they emitted made Su Yan's body feel like it was about to explode. Chapter 95. Not good. Su Yen felt his scalp go numb. The sleeping dragon totem had awakened at this critical moment. Was this a good thing or a bad thing? Was he as strong as the cauldron's owner? Just as Su Yen was feeling extremely nervous, the following scene caused Su Yen to almost explode in anger. His face was so ashen that it was frightening. What dogfart treasure was there? The countless treasures in the sky were all fake. They were all illusions. The moment the true dragon appeared, it was riddled with holes and collapsed. Everything was destroyed in an instant. These were all fake. They were not treasures at all. This was an illusion that caused one's mind to be confused. Then what about the dragon blood? The true dragon entered the jar. It was angry and roared crazily. Its roar was so loud that even the heavens were about to shatter. Bang! The jar exploded. What dog-fart dragon blood! Not a single drop of blood was left. Ho! The little true dragon roared. Its entire body was covered in golden light. It was so bright that it overflowed the heavens and earth, causing the surroundings to rumble. The little true dragon was angry. It was actually able to resist it. Su Yen was dumbfounded. Not a single one of them was real. And this blurry and massive human face trembled in the face of the little true dragon's fury. Mommy! A squeal like that of a pig being slaughtered rang out. It was as if a mountain of meat had fallen down. It hugged its head and said in a timid voice, "High Immortal, please spare me. This little one doesn't dare. This little one doesn't dare anymore. High Immortal, please spare me." The true dragon roared at it and flew back in a flustered and exasperated manner. It entered Su Yan's arm and went back to sleep. Su Yen was completely petrified. He even wanted to laugh, but he couldn't. He stared blankly at the animal in front of him. It was fat, and looked very comical. Its body was exactly the same as a giant panda. Its ink-black fur was sparkling and translucent. Its fur was like satin, overflowing with light and color. It was lying on the ground like a bear. At this moment, it was shivering with its head shrunk. Its timid appearance was as if it wanted to find a hole to hide in. "You ferocious beast, how dare you trick me?" Su Yen was flustered and exasperated. Just now, he had almost failed miserably. He did not expect that everything was just a disguise of the giant panda. Ever since the little golden dragon disappeared, the true dragon's coercion in this space slowly dissipated. The giant panda, which had fought a great battle, suddenly got up. Its movements were nimble, unlike the lazy and clumsy giant panda. This fellow was charmingly simple and honest. His panda eyes were wide open, and his 2 big ears were erect, as if he was looking for traces of the true dragon. In the end, his gaze landed on Su Yen. because of Su Yan's anger, and the faintly discernible remnant true dragon aura on his body, the giant panda trembled and retreated with a bow. Su Yan raised his fist and was about to hit it, but he didn't know what to do with this stupid and adorable panda. "Kid, who are you?" The giant panda suddenly looked askance at Su Yan and probed. The look in its eyes made Su Yan's hair stand on end. This was a look of disdain. "You're still looking down on me?" Su Yan was furious for a moment and rushed up. The moment his body woke up, a huge dragon-shaped pillar suddenly appeared behind him. The giant panda trembled all over, and its fur stood up like a big hedgehog. It thought that the true dragon had attacked again. This fellow was very useless as it lay paralyzed on the ground. Su Yan slapped down and pressed the giant panda to the ground. He said angrily, "Speak, where is my treasured cauldron? Tell me honestly." "Great Immortal, please spare my life. Great Immortal, please spare my life. I dare not do it again." The giant panda was so scared that its whole body trembled, as if it had been struck by lightning. "Still not telling me the truth?" Su Yan shouted angrily. "Don't think that I won't beat you up just because you're a giant panda. Tell me, how did you get in here? Tell me." And the giant panda was stunned. Its strength was surprisingly great, and it was like a dragon as it quickly got up. Su Yan was shocked. His strength was astonishing, but the giant panda struggled free in an instant. The giant panda stared at Su Yan with its eyes as big as copper bells. Su Yan also stared at it. He felt that this fellow was a little dangerous. Its strength was too great. It was not an ordinary beast king, but it did not seem like a demon king either. However, its strength should be close to the weapon-building realm. "Don't move," the giant panda growled. It arched its body, as if it had encountered an extremely dangerous situation. Its expression was too serious, and its two black ears were erect. It was very alert as it stared at the giant panda eyes. Su Yan was stunned. He looked around suspiciously. When he saw the giant panda turn around and run, its 4 hooves stomping the ground, his face instantly turned green. "Despicable giant panda, I must teach you a lesson." Su Yan rushed forward, but the giant panda was like a hungry wolf. It pounced forward, its large claws grabbing an ancient bronze cauldron on the ground. However, the bronze cauldron now looked different from what Su Yan had seen before. It did not look as terrifying as the previous supreme treasure. Instead, it was riddled with holes, as if it would shatter at any moment. "Give it to me." Su Yan also felt that it was not an ordinary item. He pulled out his metal rod and swung it at the giant panda. The giant panda looked at the broken bronze cauldron as if it had found a precious treasure. It grinned foolishly. When Su Yan's golden rod came crashing down, he took out a shiny bamboo from somewhere and blocked the golden rod that was smashing down. Boom! 2 powerful forces collided here, twisting apart the vacuum, causing endless explosions to ring out. Su Yan used all the strength in his body to fiercely suppress the golden bamboo. He raised his palm and hit the giant panda's shoulder. Whang! The hair on the giant panda's body stood on end. Each strand of hair was like a needle tip, standing up neatly. F***ck your grandfather! Su Yan almost jumped up. His entire palm was pierced until it bled, and he cried out in pain. Hee kid, you are still too weak to fight with this beast god. The giant panda sneered. It ignored Su Yan and hugged the bronze cauldron with its 2 claws. It laughed foolishly and shook its 2 big ears. Just as Su Yan was about to do it again, he vaguely realized that he had formed a connection with the bronze cauldron. A hint of joy flashed in Su Yan's eyes. In an instant, through the connection between flesh and blood, he activated the bronze cauldron. The bronze cauldron shook violently. The giant panda cried out in pain and fell to the ground. The bronze cauldron flew through the air and appeared in front of Su Yan. Ha ha ha! Su Yan looked up and laughed. Although he did not know why this treasure was so tattered, The bronze cauldron's strength was enough for Su Yen to call it the #1 treasure on Earth. This treasure was definitely not ordinary. After all, it was hidden in a deadly trap. Brat, this is this beast god's treasure. Give it to me. The giant panda rushed forward and opened its mouth to bite Su Yen. Panda, you better behave. Be careful or I'll skin you alive. Su Yen swung the bronze cauldron and smashed it on the giant panda's head. The giant panda retreated cautiously, as if it had a premonition that its face would be bruised and swollen. A smile appeared on Su Yan's face. He carried the bronze cauldron that was riddled with holes and measured it carefully. The divine power in his life spring drilled out and penetrated the broken bronze cauldron. Who knew that the broken cauldron would suddenly emit a powerful divine power? The cauldron seemed to have awakened from its slumber. The broken cauldron walls flashed with ancient and blurry images. However, each image was filled with a terrifying aura that made the void tremble. Su Yen was shocked. This treasure's divine power was too terrifying. However, Su Yen realized that to activate this cauldron, it seemed that some special methods were required. It was difficult to activate the cauldron's power with just divine power. This guy cheated me of my blood just now. I guess it wants to control the bronze cauldron. Su Yen thought to himself. His face turned ugly. This was a scoundrel. He took one step after another towards the giant panda. Giant panda, give me an explanation. Otherwise, I don't mind making the last giant panda on Earth my mount. Su Yan's face was full of threats. He had even tricked a real dragon. Su Yen could only deal with it carefully and figure out its origin. Kid. The giant panda pulled its fat face and threatened. What giant panda? Can bear and cat be used to describe this mighty beast deity? This beast deity's name is Tai Baokai. Watch your words. Gold treasure? Su Yen was stunned. This name was too tacky. What gold treasure? The giant panda stared at him and corrected. It's Tai Baokai. Tai Baokai, do you know how to call me that? If you don't, you can call me beast deity. I don't care if you're called gold treasure or silver treasure. Su Yen snorted. Tell me your origin. Be careful or I'll make your head explode. You? Tai Baokai cast a sidelong glance at Su Yen. It then stretched out its paw and shook it arrogantly. This beast deity is not laughing at you. You can't do it. Su Yen gritted his teeth. This funny look was too annoying. He carried the bronze cauldron and pressed forward again. This scene made the giant panda grin and mock mercilessly. This beast deity understands. You don't know how to use the cauldron. Kid, obediently hand it over. This beast deity can reward you with 2 origin essence stones. Beast deity? Su Yen grinned and mocked. I wonder who was the one begging for mercy just now. Hearing this, all the hair on Tai Baokai's body stood on end. Its panda eyes were spitting fire. Its body was faintly emitting a powerful aura like that of a barbaric dragon. Su Yen also became serious. He stared at the fat giant panda walking towards him. It was very nimble, and its entire body was emitting a powerful aura like that of a barbaric dragon. Su Yen gripped the metal rod tightly. This was a dangerous creature. One man and one beast stared at each other. The powerful auras emitted by each other clashed. Hee, how should I address you, brother? No discord, no concord. We'll be brothers from now on. Come, let's have a cigarette. The giant panda suddenly gave a funny smile. It grinned widely and took out a box of cigarettes that made Su Yen petrified. It took out one and passed it to him. Su Yan's mouth was trembling. Looking at the giant panda passing him a cigarette, he suddenly had the urge to cry out loud. Where did this monster come from? Brother, you don't smoke? The giant panda was stunned. It stood in human form and raised its head. Its paws were clasped together as if it was cupping its fist. It probed, I, Tai Baokai, have the strongest innate talent in the entire universe. If you hand over Sir True Dragon and let it accept me as its disciple, I, Tai Baokai, will definitely not refuse. F***ck. Chapter 96. Su Yan's expression did not change much. He thought hard and suppressed the urge to beat Tai Baokai up. Ahem, Su Yan pursed his lips. His expression became unfathomable, like a peerless master. He put his hands behind his back. This scene made the giant panda's eyes widen. He lowered his voice and said with a smile, "Brother, we didn't know each other until we fought. I'm the one and only divine beast in the universe. Lord True Dragon will definitely find someone strong to take me in as a disciple." Hearing this, Su Yan said arrogantly, "Little guy, how great is Lord True Dragon? If you want to be his disciple, you have to introduce your background. Otherwise, how can I communicate with Lord True Dragon? Just say that you're an arrogant thing and want him to accept you as his disciple? Don't talk nonsense." Sure. Tai Baokai took out 2 origin essence stones from somewhere and stuffed them into Su Yan's hands. He smiled honestly and said, "Brother, ask Lord True Dragon to come out. I'll talk to him personally." Su Yan fell into deep thought as he weighed the 2 pieces of origin essence stone in his hand, a troubled look on his face. This scene caused Tai Baokai's face to darken a little. He rummaged around and took out another 2 pieces. He grinned and handed them to Su Yan with a simple and honest look. "Brother, you've helped me. When the time comes, I'll give you another generous gift." Su Yan took them skillfully and said, "You don't know, but Lord True Dragon is injured. He likes the dragon blood you took out. If you give it to Lord True Dragon, I'll put in a good word for you. I don't think it'll be a problem for you to become his disciple. We'll be brothers in the future." Tai Baokai's fat body shook. He hesitated for a while and said, So it's brother. The dragon blood is at home. Ask Lord True Dragon to come out. We'll go home and take it." This, Su Yan said awkwardly, "Master True Dragon's soul is also injured. Look, take out some Yuan Shin mystic medicine for Master True Dragon to rest." Tai Baokai pulled a long face and said with a dark face, "Boy, don't try to take advantage of the situation. Tell Lord True Dragon to come out. I'll have a good talk with Lord True Dragon. Don't try to trip us up." "Tai Baokai, how dare you talk to me like that?" Su Yan said arrogantly. "I think you don't want to be my disciple anymore. If that's the case, you can leave. Lord True Dragon doesn't need such an insincere disciple." "Who says I'm not sincere?" Tai Baokai immediately became anxious. "Brother, don't worry. Think about it. You're a human, so it's impossible for you to obtain the true teachings of Lord True Dragon. But I'm different. I have the bloodline of the King of Beast Deities, so I can definitely display Lord True Dragon's unique skills to the extreme. Look, isn't Master injured? When I inherit his inheritance, I will definitely give you a share. F***ck. Su Yan almost went berserk. This bastard was too shameless. "If you want to be my disciple, then so be it. Now you're ready to covet Lord True Dragon's inheritance. Brother, I see that your physical body is very strong. I guess you've cultivated Lord True Dragon's heavenly technique. Is it the Supreme True Dragon technique?" Tai Baokai said enticingly, "How about this, you teach me the Supreme True Dragon technique, and I'll teach you the method to drive the bronze cauldron. What do you think?" "Supreme True Dragon technique?" Su Yan shook his head and sneered. "What Supreme True Dragon technique? I've seen this heavenly technique before. It's so weak that it can't be compared to the unique skills that Master True Dragon passed down to me. How is that possible? Boy, are you trying to trick me? Even the Supreme True Dragon technique is so weak?" The giant panda's eyes widened, and its body trembled with excitement. It quickly said, "What's your name? It's more powerful than the Supreme True Dragon technique. You can cultivate such a powerful scripture? Are you kidding me? Look at your physique. You're so skinny that you won't be able to use much of it. How about this, you teach it to me and let me try cultivating it. Maybe Lord True Dragon will see my talent and accept me as his personal disciple. When I succeed in learning it, I'll definitely give you a lot of benefit. When that time comes, senior brother will definitely guide you and bring you to the universe. Su Yan's face was unfathomable. The corner of his mouth wriggled, and a short opening of the initial scripture was transmitted. Layers of golden words exploded in the vast void. Tai Baokai listened to the opening of the initial scripture with a serious face. Its two big ears perked up, and it was silent. As it listened, the scripture was interrupted. Tai Baokai instantly became anxious and almost jumped up. Why is it just a little bit? Pass the rest to me so I can try. No, the scripture that Master passed down to me cannot be taught to outsiders. Don't you know this rule? Su Yan's face was full of difficulty. The same goes for the great divine ability. I'm not allowed to teach it to outsiders. Great divine ability? What great divine ability? Show it to me. Tai Baokai urged. Su Yan suddenly erupted with the Alcade Fist. The speed of his fist was very fast, and the speed of his fist was also very fast. Alcade Fist! Tai Baokai screamed. This is the Alcade Fist. Sigh, it's a pity that I'm not talented enough. You don't know, but Master has countless secret techniques. He said that when I learn this secret technique, he will pass down the rest to me. Su Yan's heart was very strange. Could it be that this guy was an alien species? The Alcade Fist was taught to him by Bamboo Moon. How did the giant panda know the name of the Alcade Fist? Perhaps the Big Dipper Fist was recorded in the ancient books when Earth was extremely prosperous. So, when I get Master's true inheritance, I'll be able to carry forward these extinct techniques. Oh right, is Master's injury serious? When will he pass away? Don't waste time. True dragons are very arrogant. If you're not talented enough, it's impossible for him to pass down all the scriptures to you. Tai Baokai was very anxious. He circled around Su Yan. After all, Su Yan's skills were all real, and Tai Baokai was very tempted. I already said that Master needs all kinds of heavenly treasures to recover. I'm not lying to you. Su Yan swore to the heavens. Master is now in a deep sleep. He needs a huge amount of energy to recover quickly. Su Yan's vow made Tai Baocai's head droop. What's the bronze cauldron? Su Yan suddenly asked. That's alchemy, Tai Baokai said absent-mindedly. Then he shuddered and said angrily, Kid, are you trying to trick me? This thing was originally mine. Su Yan snorted. If you don't tell me honestly, how can I introduce you to Master True Dragon? Give me the method to activate the bronze cauldron first, then I'll trust you. Also, what was the trick you used to trick me? Pass it to me as a greeting gift. Kid, you're too greedy. That's the beast god's special skill. I won't easily pass it on. Tai Baocai's face was full of disbelief. Unless you let Master True Dragon out. Boom! At this time, a loud sound was heard, accompanied by bursts of strange fragrance. Oh no, they opened the alchemy room. Tai Baokai said hurriedly, Give me the bronze cauldron. No discussion. Su Yan's attitude was very firm. He shook his head and said, Don't even think about my treasure. Kid, don't regret it. There's longevity medicine in the alchemy room. If you're late, you'll lose everything. Tai Baokai was so anxious that he almost jumped up. Without my method to activate the cauldron, you won't be able to take the longevity medicine away. The alchemy room has been sealed for so long. Once the medicine furnace is opened, the medicine will be exhausted. Longevity medicine? Su Yan's heart thumped. In ancient times, it was said that Qin Shi Huang sent all kinds of strong people overseas to search for the elixir of immortality. That's a rare elixir that's been refined for thousands of years. Tai Baokai was very anxious. Let's cooperate, okay? Okay, let's go. If you dare to be sneaky, don't even think about having Master True Dragon as your master in this lifetime. Su Yan didn't hesitate anymore. He and Tai Baokai rushed down together, following the fragrance to the alchemy room. Look, I think I saw the extinct animal recorded in history books, the giant panda. Yeah, I also vaguely saw it, but he was too fast, so I didn't see it too clearly. There were many people in the underground palace. Some people were attracted by the giant panda that suddenly ran out and were talking about it. You're the giant panda, your whole family are giant pandas. Tai Baokai fiercely turned around and threatened, Animal? The great Tai Baokai is the beast god. When I come back, I'll take care of you. Just you wait. These people were dumbfounded, and their hair stood on end. Usually, only demon kings could open their mouths and speak human language. Could this be a demon king? In the underground palace, the smell of blood assailed their nostrils. There were corpses everywhere, and there were even many ferocious beast corpses. The deeper they went, the bigger the underground palace became. There were more shouts of killing in all directions. The opening of Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum attracted countless cultivators, and a large number of beast kings also killed their way in to seize the fortune. This also caused the entire underground palace to be very chaotic. What a rich essence of heaven and earth! Su Yan was surprised. The essence of heaven and earth here was several times richer than that of Huaxia University's Divine Dragon Mountain. He could even feel the existence of the earth's energy. Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum was definitely above the earth's dragon veins. One man and one beast ran very fast. Kid, hurry up. If you're late, everything will be gone. Tai Baokai urged him anxiously. His 4 strong hooves were like a windmill, dashing madly like a tiger. I can't hold on any longer. Tai Baokai, carry me, Su Yan said while panting. Tai Baokai was so angry that it was about to float. It roared with red eyes, Kid, you're dreaming. Do you think you can sit on the great beast god? You don't want the elixir of immortality anymore, do you? Su Yan threatened. The panda rushed madly for a while to vent its anger, then ran back and glared fiercely at Su Yan. Su Yan jumped onto Tai Baocai's back and patted its fat butt. Destination, medicine refining room, sprint. Damn you, just you wait. Tai Baokai couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with Su Yan and ran madly. Look, it's Su Yan. He actually dared to come out. Tong Huiyin has been looking for him like crazy. Oh my god, look. Isn't that a national treasure? Why is he riding on a panda? Unbelievable. One of the extinct giant pandas is still alive. This is big news that will cause a sensation in Huaxia University. I wonder if it can give birth to some cubs? The passing cultivators who saw this scene were boiling with excitement. This made Tai Baokai pull a long face, and it was indescribably gloomy. At this time, the exotic fragrance became stronger and stronger. Su Yan and Tai Baokai rushed to their destination, but there were many pitch-black corpses. This medicine refining room has been sealed for thousands of years. The pills have all turned into poisonous gas, and many people have died from it. Su Yan's pupils suddenly shrank. Many powerful vicious beasts had been poisoned to death. At this moment, Su Yan felt as if he was standing at the mouth of a volcano. He couldn't help but feel apprehensive. There was a fire vein underground. There was a medicine refining room in front, but the stone door had already been pushed open. The moment they rushed in, the whole medicine refining room was a tragic sight. There were severed limbs everywhere. Too many people had died. Su Yan even saw a few peak-level beast kings collapsed here. Tong Huiyin. Su Yan's eyes turned red. Tong Huiyin was the only person in the medicine refining room. His injuries were also very serious. He had already lost an arm, and now he was using his other arm to open a giant 8 trigrams furnace. Open for me. Tong Huiyin let out an agitated roar. He used all his strength to open the 8 trigrams furnace. This was a furnace with a fire that hadn't been extinguished for thousands of years. Only the heavens knew what kind of rare immortal medicine was being refined inside. Tong Huiyin, your father is here. Your father Baokai is here. Su Yen and Tai Baokai roared at the top of their lungs at the same time. It was as if two ferocious beasts were roaring here. Their voices shook the heaven and earth, causing Tong Huiyin to lose his mind and almost die. Chapter 97. Tong Huiyin was still immersed in his excitement. This furnace had been burning for thousands of years. Only the heavens knew what kind of rare elixir was being refined inside. He never thought that he would encounter such a fortune. Perhaps he might be able to dig out an immortal elixir. However, this 8 trigrams furnace was too heavy. Tong Huiyin tried to open it, but to no avail. Ha ha ha, my fortune, hurry up and come out. Let me see your true face. Tong Huiyin looked up to the sky and laughed. At this moment, he exploded with his strongest strength. His weapon-building realm strength was completely restored. He used all his strength to open the furnace. However, 2 loud roars came out, shaking the heavens and shattering the void. These 2 loud roars almost caused Tong Huiyin to lose his focus. His strength leaked out and he almost crashed into the 8 trigrams furnace. Who? Tong Huiyin looked as if he had eaten a pile of shit. His face was as ugly as it could be. He angrily turned his head and saw Su Yen rushing towards him. This scene caused Tong Huiyin to be both shocked and angry. He never thought that Su Yen would dare to come here. Just as he was about to suppress Su Yen, he did not notice that the Tai Baokai was crawling on the ground and rolling over like a big meatball. In fact, its aura, which was originally very weak, instantly exploded to its strongest state. Su Yen had learned something new. The Tai Baocai's sneak attack was too accurate. Boom! At this moment, the Tai Baocai's strength was boundless. Like a big bull, it stomped on the ground and raised its head. Its fur stood on end as it fiercely slammed into Tong Huiyin's body. Ah! Tong Huiyin let out a mournful cry of pain. He was already seriously injured. Now that he was hit by the Tai Baokai, all the bones in his body were broken. He spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backwards. Su Yen rose from the ground and pulled out his golden rod. He smashed it towards the flying Tong Huiyin. This attack was very fierce. Tong Huiyin frantically dodged and avoided the fatal area. However, Su Yan's rod still smashed into his other shoulder. Gotcha! This caused his shoulder to cave in and half his body to bleed. His entire arm was smashed off by Su Yan's rod. Ah! Tong Huiyin directly fell to the ground. His whole body was twisted, and he let out a miserable howl like a wild beast. He was in so much pain that he almost fainted. His whole body was covered in cold sweat. Both of his arms were gone, and he had become a one-armed man. The cauldron. Su Yen decisively took out the bronze cauldron. This tattered bronze cauldron floated above the 8 trigrams cauldron, rumbling as it rotated. Buzz. The moment the cauldron was opened, layer after layer of boundless and vigorous life essence soared into the sky. A dazzling golden light emerged. Heavens, there really is an elixir inside. Is this the elixir of immortality? Su Yen was stunned. There was actually a golden elixir inside. The elixir flew out of the cauldron and was filled with a boundless divine luster. It hovered in the air. Su Yen, I'm going to kill you. Tong Huiyin's eyes were red as if his wife had been snatched away. He suppressed the intense pain in his body and rushed forward to snatch the golden elixir. Su Yen had already grabbed the golden elixir in his hand. Seeing Tong Huiyin rushing over, Su Yen sneered. He closed his eyes and communicated with the source seed. The golden origin brush lit up and started to inscribe resplendent array marks at an extremely fast speed. It flowed down Su Yan's feet and landed on the ground. Earth Vein Qi, come out! Su Yen triggered the Earth Vein Qi under the medicine refining room. The Earth Vein fire surged out like a fire snake and swallowed Tong Huiyin. Ah! Tong Huiyin let out an incomparably miserable cry. The temperature of the fire was very high. Even though he had a fire attribute treasure body, when faced with the earth vein fire that had existed underground for thousands of years, his skin split open and his flesh was about to explode. Tai Baokai! Su Yen fiercely shouted. He realized that Tai Baokai had drilled into the 8 trigrams cauldron. Only its 2 sturdy legs were exposed as it struggled to kick the air outside. Su Yen felt that he had been tricked. Tai Baokai actually didn't want the golden elixir? Instead, it was searching for treasures in the 8 trigrams cauldron. Could it be that this elixir couldn't compare to the treasures in the cauldron? Tai Baokai drilled out and carried the 8 trigrams cauldron as it bared its teeth in excitement. Su Yen, stop right there. I won't let you go. Tong Huiyin was still alive and let out a shrill cry. After all, he was a building artifact realm cultivator. The power of the life spring gushed out without holding back. He suppressed the fire on his body and charged towards Su Yen like a flash of lightning. Su Yen didn't want to stay any longer. He triggered the earth vein chi and flashed out of the medicine refining room. Run! I can feel an expert coming. Tai Baokai slapped the door of the medicine refining room with its big paw. It hurriedly said, I didn't expect you to know the Chi Men's techniques. Teach me later. Now let's get out of here. Run. Su Yen also vaguely felt a familiar aura. It was Zhu Yan's aura. Once again, he rode on Tai Baokai and used all his strength to trigger the earth vein chi. He leaped through space and quickly left this area. Baokai, go! Su Yen rode on Tai Baokai and said, Run! I don't have any strength left. Tai Baokai was so angry that it almost stood up. It said with a black face, Don't be so smug. The guy chasing after us isn't weak. Quickly think of a way to get out of here. Su Yan's face also turned serious. Zhu Yan was getting closer and closer to him. The god of war Zhu Yan is here. The entire underground palace was in an uproar. A golden god of war was coming. He was wearing a golden armor, purple cloud boots, and a purple gold crown. Zhu Yan was extraordinary. When he entered the underground palace and saw the scene here, he was furious. Emperor Qin's mausoleum was originally his, but now that so many people had barged in, how could Zhu Yan be in a good mood? Boom! His aura was fully released. The turbulent waves spread out and swept across all directions. The entire underground palace was trembling. Countless cultivators were paralyzed on the ground. It was very difficult for them to withstand Zhu Yan's might. He rushed into the depths of the palace like lightning and smelled the strange fragrance. When he saw the alchemy room, his face turned gloomy as he kicked the door open. A sound like a pig being slaughtered could be heard. The group of people who followed Zhu Yan were stunned. They all saw Tong Huiyin. He was too miserable. Both of his arms were gone, his body was charred black, and his eyes were bloodshot. He had almost gone crazy. To be reduced to such a state by Su Yen, one could imagine Tong Huiyin's mood. Tong Huiyin was one of the top 10 experts. His current miserable state made them shudder. Even if there was a rare secret medicine that could regrow his severed arms, his foundation would be greatly damaged. In the future, Tong Huiyin would be stuck at the weapon-building realm. Speak! Zhu Yan's dignified voice contained a thunderous fury. Tong Huiyin shuddered. Zhu Yan's anger made him sober up a little. He hurriedly explained the cause and effect of the matter. The moment he described the golden pill, Zhu Yan's anger burned even more. The golden pill, Su Yan. Zhu Yan's eyes were filled with bone-chilling killing intent. From the moment Su Yan appeared until now, his series of good things had been ruined. Furthermore, the martial god had intercepted him midway. Otherwise, Zhu Yan wouldn't have come so late. Even Zhu Yan didn't expect that Su Yan would be able to find the way and enter Emperor Qin's mausoleum. Let's see where you can run to. Zhu Yan's body emitted a purple divine light that pierced through the air for dozens of miles, causing the underground palace to tremble. His aura was too shocking. He immediately rushed inside, wanting to find Su Yan and take away the golden pill. Of course, Zhu Yan didn't care about the golden pill. What he really cared about was the heavenly art Su Yan had grasped. How magnificent was the initial scripture! If he could obtain this scripture, Zhu Yan was confident that he would become a supreme expert of the younger generation. Such speed! Su Yan had already sensed that Zhu Yan's aura was closing in on him. He was like a big furnace quickly catching up. There were fewer cultivators in this place. Corpses were everywhere. Tai Baokai ran and ran. Suddenly, he fell to the ground. He stretched out his big claws and randomly smeared blood on his body. His big tongue stuck out and his face was dead. There was no trace of life. F***ck. Su Yan's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. He was pretending to be dead. Su Yan couldn't find any trace of life and thought that Tai Baokai was scared to death. Don't touch me. Don't you have a strange technique? Quickly activate the energy of the earth veins and hide our traces. The guy chasing us is not weak. Tai Baokai slapped his big tongue and used his primordial spirit to transmit his voice. Su Yan could only lie down beside Tai Baokai and smear blood on his face. He activated the energy of the earth veins to hide their traces. After all, there were many corpses here. Boom! At this time, Zhu Yan had already rushed over. His martial prowess was extraordinary. Everywhere he passed, all the living beings were penetrated by him. His primordial spirit was extremely powerful and swept through this place. Su Yan felt the energy of the primordial spirit sweep through him several times before it retreated completely like the tide. Zhu Yan rushed in with a lot of people. Tai Baokai suddenly got up and shook his fur. He looked at Zhu Yan's back and said enviously, "Do you want to steal the treasure?" "I think you do." Su Yan snorted. He didn't forget that Tai Baokai almost tricked him into stealing the bronze cauldron. "You still hold a grudge. Without me, you wouldn't have been able to take the golden pill." Tai Baokai was a little embarrassed. He then said, "And you can't activate the bronze cauldron. Look at this broken cauldron. It's too flawed. You have no use for it." "I say, Baokai, you make it sound so easy." Su Yan's face was full of black lines. "I won't argue with you about this for now. Tell me, what should we do now? This guy has some strength. I think he can open the secret door inside. Follow him and we'll definitely have meat to eat." Su Yan naturally wouldn't give up on this opportunity. He and Tai Baokai became partners 50-50. He started to follow Zhu Yan's group all the way inside. The underground palace was too big, and there were corpses everywhere. Zhu Yan was extremely domineering. Wherever he went, everyone had to bow their heads. This scene made Tai Baokai look unfriendly. He turned to Su Yan and asked, "This guy is so awesome? What's his background?" "I still want to ask you." Su Yan looked at Tai Baokai suspiciously. This Tai Baokai couldn't have been in Emperor Qin's mausoleum all this time, could it? It didn't even know Zhu Yan. This was very likely. Tai Baokai changed the topic and said, "No matter who it is, this guy is like a local tyrant. I'll find a chance to teach him a lesson." Su Yan said disdainfully, "You're not Zhu Yan's match at all. You want to teach him a lesson? Stop bragging." Tai Baokai was furious. "I want to see how awesome he is. How dare he provoke me? Do you believe that I'll punish him on the spot?" There's a big Tai Bao flying in the sky and a big Tai Bao running underground. Su Yan sat leisurely on Tai Baocai's back and looked at him disdainfully. "Kid, you don't believe me? Watch how I'll teach him a lesson. I'll teach him a lesson." Tai Baokai pulled big fat face and carried Su Yan all the way up. "Zhu Yan, the god of war is here." When Zhu Yan sprinted all the way to the depths of the underground palace, everyone's expression changed. This was a giant staircase with a total of 9,999 steps. Blood was flowing down the step, and at the top of the stairs was an extremely grand palace that emitted the domineering aura of an emperor. Now, there were already people rushing here. Lu Chengtian and the rest were also here. They had a lot of gains, digging out many ancient books and some precious artifact. What's that? At this moment, the people who rushed here were all envious. The palace was very grand, but above the palace, it was as if the Milky Way was sprinkling down from the 9 heavens. Tens of thousands of divine rays shot out in all directions. Above the palace, there was a huge black meteorite floating. It was extremely terrifying. The huge meteorite seemed to be able to communicate with the power of the stars in the sky. It emitted an extremely domineering energy field that made the experts close and feel extremely pressured. What treasure is this? Su Yen was extremely shocked. He felt that compared to the treasure he stole from the rhinoceros, there was a huge gap. Zhu Yan's eyes were red. This was a rare, immortal material. When Su Yen saw what happened to Tai Baokai, he was shocked. Tai Baokai was gasping for breath. Green smoke was coming out of his nostrils. His eyes were bloodshot, and he was so excited that he was almost foaming at the mouth. Tai Baokai, calm down. Su Yen quickly said, don't be excited, calm down. Damn, we're rich. Tai Baokai took a deep breath and said, no matter what happens later, we must take this item. It can be refined into an extremely terrifying artifact. This should be the legendary celestial body. What's a celestial body? Su Yen was puzzled. Isn't this a meteorite? What meteorite? Kid, you really don't know anything. A celestial body is a treasure refined from an ancient life star by a powerful being in the universe. The strength of this celestial body is already extremely heaven-defying. It was probably refined by a powerful being. We must take it away. This is a peerless divine material for refining artifact. It can only be found by chance. Chapter 98. The tool-building realm, as the name implied, was to refine one's own life weapon. The strength of the weapon was related to the level of the realm. Once a complete weapon was refined, it would accompany the cultivator's growth in the future, possibly for the rest of his life. The strength of the weapon was naturally related to the materials used. Tai Caibao's words stunned Su Yen. This celestial body was actually refined from a complete ancient life star. What if Earth was refined into a celestial body? Su Yen didn't even dare to think about it. He felt a sense of crisis. If Earth, this ancient life star, was strong enough, and Earth didn't have strong enough experts to protect it, would it be refined into a celestial body by the universe's experts? It should be a supreme-grade celestial body. Zhu Yen was extremely excited. He recognized this object. Generally speaking, the strength of a celestial body was related to the strength of the ancient life star. A supreme-grade celestial body was even more terrifying. Its area was thousands of times larger than Earth's. It was too difficult to refine such an ancient life star. Only extremely strong existences could use great magical powers to refine a celestial body. After refining it, they would use it as a treasure. However, this celestial body was different for Zhu Yen and the others. It could be refined into a life weapon, even 10 of them. Refined a dozen life origin artifacts? Su Yan's expression changed. This was worth it for him to go all out. Its value was too shocking. It could be sold for an unimaginable sky-high price, even in the star fields at the peak of cultivation civilization. Just thinking about it made one's heart tremble. Only the inheritors of superpowers had the qualifications to use this kind of resource. Of course, even if they had the qualifications, supreme-grade celestial bodies weren't something that could be bought just because they wanted to. This object was too rare. Zhu Yen didn't expect to encounter a celestial body here. He speculated that Earth was once an almighty expert. Then Earth was now a priceless immortal treasury. As long as he was strong enough, more and more immortal treasures would be unearthed on Earth. If he could dig out the treasures of almighty experts, this was a fortune he didn't even dare to think about. Zhu Yan's eyes were burning with passion. He had never thought that he would encounter such an opportunity. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Once he gained control of the entire Earth, he would be able to suppress some people and turn them into slaves. They would have to work for him, mine, and do manual labor. Let's not talk about astral bodies for now. Where is the golden pill that you just took? Tai Kaibao asked, gritting his teeth. Hearing this, Su Yen looked at Tai Baokai warily and said, Baokai, you have to be honest. I don't even know what good things are in the 8 trigrams furnace that you took away. Shouldn't you give me an explanation? Humph, I'm the great beast god, not a human. Tai Kaibao shook his head and said, I advise you to take a look at the situation of the golden pill. Don't blame me for not reminding you, this pill is not something that anyone can take away. You'd better let me keep it for you. If I give it to you, it's like throwing meat buns at a dog. Do you think I can get it back? Although Su Yen didn't believe it, his primordial spirit emerged and affected the green phoenix hairpin. When he saw the golden pill, Su Yan's expression changed. The medicinal power within the golden pill was dissipating on its own. It was originally sparkling and full, but now it had lost a lot of medicinal power. However, what surprised Su Yen was that the medicinal power that flowed out was absorbed by the phoenix hairpin. This treasure didn't seem to be as simple as a storage space. Tell me the truth. Su Yen interrogated Tai Baokai. This pill must be sealed immediately. With your methods, there's no way you can seal it. Tai Baokai laughed sinisterly and said, Give it to me, I'll keep it for you. If you don't want to tell me, then let it slowly dissipate. Anyway, it's useless to you now. Su Yen didn't care and said, When the Lord True Dragon asks, I'll say that you ate it secretly. Brat, don't kill the beast deity. If not for me, how could you have taken the golden pill? Tai Baokai looked at the indifferent Su Yen and said with a pained expression, Fine, fine, fine. You win. Hurry up and put the golden pill into the bronze cauldron. The bronze cauldron can seal the speed at which the golden pill is dissipating. Su Yen gave it a try suspiciously. What surprised him was that it really worked. He speculated that the bronze cauldron was very likely a furnace for refining medicine, and it was definitely very powerful. Don't talk nonsense. How do I take this astral body? Su Yen stared at the giant palace at the top of the stairs. No one could climb the giant palace now, because the astral body floating above the giant palace emitted waves of suffocating energy fields. Without a doubt, the astral body was here. Even experts at the 9th layer of the life spring realm could not climb it. Even experts at the weapon-building realm would find it difficult to climb up and open the giant palace to take away the astral body. Don't be hasty. Let's see how this brat will go up first. Tai Baokai whispered treacherously, When the time comes, we'll catch him off guard and take the astral body. Su Yen and Tai Baokai observed from a hidden place. There were more and more onlookers here. They were all staring at Zu Yen, wanting to see how he would climb up. Zu Yan's appearance was powerful and domineering. The golden armor on his body burst forth, and the purple cloud boots on his feet released a purple divine glow. The divine power in his body circulated. He was like a ferocious beast, withstanding immense pressure. Step by step, he began to walk up the stone stairs. Every step shook the earth. It was obvious how powerful Zu Yen was. Baokai, why are you drooling? Su Yen glanced at it from the corner of his eyes. Tai Baokai wiped its saliva and bared its teeth. This brat is a local tycoon. Look at what he's wearing. Golden armor, purple cloud boots, purple gold crown, jade pendant on his waist, and a string of prayer beads around his neck. I can faintly see that his life spring is shining. There are definitely 5 or 6 treasures hidden in it. As Tai Baokai spoke, it became more and more excited. It grinned and said, Look at how awesome this brat is. One look and I can tell that he's not a good person. When we find out where his nest is one day, we'll kill our way over and raid his house. I've heard that Zu Yen is the richest man on earth. He has at least tens of thousands of origin essence stones. Su Yen said enticingly. I've even heard that Zhu Yen has mastered many divine abilities and secret manuals. He's the richest man on earth. Who knows, he might have countless elixirs and secret medicines hidden in his house. The richest man on earth. Tai Baotsai's eyes were about to spit fire. It said fiercely, tens of thousands of origin essence stones? Brat, is your information accurate? If he really has so many origin essence stones, we'll definitely dig up his nest and transport them all out. Of course it's true. Moreover, this Zhu Yen has a grudge against me. He wanted to be Lord True Dragon's disciple more than once. He even wanted to give Lord True Dragon a large number of treasures. Su Yen also said fiercely, I've heard that Zhu Yen has the strongest ancestral vein on earth. He's too rich. I've heard that he's ready to take over the entire earth and become a local tyrant. What? This brat dares to touch the god of longevity? How dare he? How could Lord True Dragon take a liking to him? Tai Baokai was furious. He's the only one who can touch the earth. This is the back progenitor. He can't. Tai Baokai had a slip of the tongue. Its big fat paw quickly covered its mouth. What back progenitor? Speak. Su Yan's eyes widened. Tai Baokai refused to speak no matter what. Su Yan used Lord True Dragon to threaten him, but it was useless. Tai Baokai was like a dead pig that wasn't afraid of boiling water. Su Yan couldn't do anything to him for the time being. God of War Zhu Yen is indeed God of War Zhu Yen. He's already reached the 9,000th step. Needless to say, God of War Zhu Yen can definitely reach the peak. He's much stronger than the martial god. Why would the martial god want to be enemies with God of War Zhu Yen? I really don't know what he's thinking. Whether it's right or wrong, God of War Zhu Yen will definitely give the world an explanation after this matter is over. There were at least a few thousand cultivators below the steppe. They were all discussing. Those who could reach here were all experts in the life spring realm. Su Yen could see that there were at least 700 or 800 experts in the life spring realm here. There were about 100 in the life spring realm, and about 100 in the life spring realm. The strength of the Earth's dormant strength was somewhat beyond his expectations. These experts had a high chance of reaching the weapon-building realm in the future. Moreover, there were definitely other experts among the major forces on Earth. The young strong faction, Xia Zhe's side, and the neutral forces. I wonder what will happen to the Earth in the future. Su Yen muttered to himself. Zhu Yan's speed had slowed down, but he was still climbing. One step after another. Every step he took, his whole body was filled with a vast wave of divine power. It had to be said that Zhu Yen was powerful and extraordinary. He was currently the strongest expert on Earth. He was getting closer and closer to the top of the giant palace. This was mainly due to the pressure emitted by the celestial body, which made it difficult for experts below the weapon-building realm to approach the giant palace. As he neared the giant palace, Zhu Yen consumed a lot of energy with every step. However, his meridians were surging like a river. This was because of the initial scripture. Although it was only a part of the initial scripture, it was still very helpful to Zhu Yen. Boom! As he neared the peak, his whole body was filled with an abnormally terrifying aura. He was like a king among men, about to push away everything. This kid has a sovereign body, Tai Baokai said disdainfully. How can a sovereign body be so arrogant? This is unreasonable. Although a sovereign body is strong, it's still far from a sovereign body. What's a sovereign body? Su Yen was moved and hurriedly asked. An extremely frightening physique. It's only SSO compared to this beast god. Tai Baokai said in a low voice. This kind of physique is very rare. Once born, they'll be young sovereigns. The heavenly art that Sir True Dragon passed on to you is very frightening. You might be able to cultivate a sovereign body. However, it's too difficult to cultivate and requires a huge amount of resources. If you succeed in introducing me as your master, I can dig up all the buried immortal treasures on earth and help you cultivate a sovereign body. Su Yen cast a sidelong glance at Tai Baokai. If he didn't believe his words, it would be strange if this guy was so kind. Kid, don't doubt me. I have the most powerful bloodline physique. If I cultivate Sir True Dragon's heavenly art, I'll definitely be a sovereign body among sovereigns. When the time comes, I'll bring you to roam the universe and subdue a few saintesses from large sects to be your wives. Tai Baokai laughed mischievously. Su Yen was too lazy to tie Baocai's nonsense. At this moment, Zhu Yen was infinitely close to the giant palace. Rumble! His aura climbed to the peak. The life spring realm spewed out divine clouds. Tai Baocai's eyes widened as he saw an ancient seal. This made Tai Baocai's face darken. How could such a secret technique appear on Earth? What was the origin of this person? How terrifying! The people in the field were suffocating. Zhu Yen was emitting waves of energy that made people tremble. At this moment, he fiercely leaped forward. His whole body was emitting a purple divine light. He suddenly raised his hand and his life vessel was awakened. It could be said that a giant seal was born here. It flowed with an aura that could collapse heaven and earth. Open! Zhu Yen bombarded it and pushed the giant palace open. However, the giant palace that was pushed open suddenly spewed out multicolored lights. At this moment, a large number of secret treasures burst out from the giant palace. There were more than 10 treasures that emitted extremely powerful waves of energy. Zhu Yen was extremely excited. He stretched out his hand like lightning and grabbed the various treasures that flew out from the giant palace. The people in the field were extremely excited. This was because the treasures that flew out from the giant palace were flying down in unison. The crowd was in chaos. Their eyes were red with envy. Many treasures were about to fall. We're rich. Su Yen, hurry up. Take the golden thunder bamboo and channel your energy into it. Hurry! Tai Baokai quickly handed a golden bamboo to Su Yen. Without hesitation, Su Yen revived the divine energy in his life spring and channeled it into the golden bamboo. This golden bamboo was very special. Under the channeling of Su Yan's energy, the golden bamboo suddenly stretched out like a golden staircase to heaven. Ha ha ha, I'm coming. Tai Baocai's small tail wrapped around the tip of the bamboo. As the golden bamboo rapidly grew, it extended for several kilometers. It just so happened that the treasures had just fallen and were still far away from the crowd that was preparing to snatch them. Chapter 99. What the hell is this thing? Where did it come from? The crowd below, who had their eyes wide open and were ready to snatch it, were dumbfounded. A monster covered in blood suddenly appeared with a golden bamboo wrapped around its tail. It carried an 8 trigrams furnace and smashed it down, suppressing at least 8 treasures. They could only stare blankly because they couldn't rush up. The energy contained within the stone steps was extremely tyrannical. Ordinary people would be suppressed if they tried to rush up. Su Yen was also surprised. This golden bamboo was too strange. It could suppress the energy ripples of the celestial body. Su Yen, it's with Su Yen. Su Yen must be nearby. Find him for me. Tong Huiyin's face immediately turned sinister as he roared furiously. He recognized the 8 trigrams furnace at a glance. This was his fortune, but Su Yen had snatched it away. He rushed up with bloodshot eyes, wanting to snatch the 8 trigrams furnace away. However, Tong Huiyin's injuries were very serious. He had just rushed up a few thousand meters when he let out a miserable cry. He was struck by the energy ripples of the celestial body and fell down, creating a large pit. Mud and blood spurted out. The surrounding people gasped. Tong Huiyin was getting more and more unlucky. Su Yen, Lu Qingtian and the others were so excited that they almost slapped their thighs. It was too difficult to take away these treasures. After all, Zhu Yan was the one who opened it, and there were many of Zhu Yan's subordinates here. Buzz! The golden bamboo glowed, and began to close in an instant. Su Yan's eyes were fixed on Zhu Yan. Zhu Yan also looked at the source of the bamboo and saw Su Yan. The two pairs of eyes looked at each other from a distance. The killing intent they released caused the area to turn cold. Su Yan was very calm. He didn't retreat. He didn't believe that Zhu Yan wouldn't be tempted. It was impossible for him to give up on the celestial body and turn around to kill him. Rumble! At this moment, the crowd below the stone steps was in chaos. Experts from all sides were fiercely fighting over the various treasures scattered down from the giant palace. Although there weren't many left, these treasures were all divine weapons. All of you stop! Zhu Yan pressed down from the sky, and a huge purple hand covered the sky as it rumbled downwards, suppressing the three treasures on the spot. At this moment, Zhu Yan was domineering. Standing at the entrance of the palace, he was like a golden god of war, looking down on the world. Give it to me! Zhu Yan's palm was overflowing with purple divine radiance. He moved his palm, and it landed on the heads of the old experts of Huaxia University. Fan Hongzheng was holding a divine saber with a face full of surprise. This was a divine weapon. Although it was only a mid-grade divine weapon, it was much better than his divine weapon. There were even divine inscriptions carved on the divine weapon. Zhu Yan's energy palm pressed down, causing Fan Hong's expression to change. He never thought that Zhu Yan would actually target him. Zhu Yan, what are you doing? Fan Hong's temper wasn't small. With his dark skin, he raged, I was the one who took this treasure. What are you trying to do? You took it, you took it. I was the one who opened the door. Who do you think the treasure belongs to? Zhu Yan's aura was majestic and vast. Standing at the entrance of the palace, his cold eyes stared at Fan Hong with disdain. His gaze even landed on Lu Qingtian. Lu Qingtian also obtained an alchemy furnace. He was also very happy. This alchemy furnace could increase his success rate of refining pills. It was much better than his alchemy furnace. He estimated that he would be able to refine Tier 4 pills in a short period of time. Lu Qingtian's smile slowly disappeared. He said seriously, Zhu Yan, you were the one who opened the door, but don't be too overbearing. Also, what do you want this furnace for? Many young people's expressions changed. Who was Lu Qingtian? He had made great contributions to the Huaxia Alliance. He often took out all kinds of resources to help talented disciples. He even recruited disciples. More than half of the Huaxia Alliance's alchemists were trained by him. Lu Qingtian only took a furnace? Now, Zhu Yan actually wanted to forcefully take it away. They all felt that Zhu Yan was going overboard. I was the one who opened the door. I'll say it again. Zhu Yan's expression was cold. He was too lazy to talk nonsense with these old things. Now that the Earth's transformation was complete and the celestial bodies were within his reach, Zhu Yan's ambition was awakened. It was time to control these people who didn't listen to him. His gaze was high and mighty, as if he was looking at a group of slaves. This gaze made Tai Kaibao angry. Motherf asterisk Ker, Earth will never allow such an awesome person to appear. Zhu Yan, you're used to being overbearing, right? You were the one who opened the door, but the treasure has no owner. Now that it flew out and was taken away by the vice principal, you still want it back? Su Yan coldly said, You're going too far. Zhu Yan's expression became even colder. He stared at Su Yan, and killing intent surged out of his body. He wanted to cut Su Yan into 1,000 pieces. Tai Baokai took away at least 8 treasures just now. If it wasn't for the distance, he would have already killed him. It's mine in the first place. Why can't I take it back? If anyone doesn't agree, come at me. Zhu Yan sneered. His attitude was very unyielding as he looked down at the crowd with a cold expression. Su Yan, stop talking. Lu Qingtian threw the furnace away. Fan Hong's expression changed drastically. He gritted his teeth and threw it out as well. This scene caused a commotion. Some people looked at the aged Zhu Yan, and clenched their fists tightly. They respected Zhu Yan, but they also respected Lu Chengtian. Zhu Yan's actions were too much. F***ck, give him a slap. He's rebelling. Tai Baokai was furious, just you wait. When I find out where your nest is, I'll wipe them all out. The atmosphere was a little cold. Other than Zhu Yan's subordinates, who were sneering and gloating. This was their leader, the strongest person in the Huaxia alliance. Who would dare to disagree? Very good. Zhu Yan changed the topic. When the treasure hunt is over, I'll appreciate it. Lu Chengtian, on account of your contributions, I might even give you one. Lu Chengtian was enraged. His face was ashen. How could Lu Chengtian bear such a tone and attitude that sounded like he was bestowing a gift to Yi Futian? He, Lu Chengtian, was the #1 alchemist in the Huaxia alliance. Zhu Yan didn't care who Lu Chengtian was. He wouldn't show mercy to anyone who dared to oppose him. Moreover, in the future, Lu Chengtian and the others would be his obstacles. He didn't need to be polite to them. Zhu Yan turned his head domineeringly, and his eyes fell on the celestial body. He had to take the celestial body before he could enter the giant palace. Earth doesn't allow such an awesome person to appear. Tai Baokai stared at Zhu Yan's back like a hungry wolf and said, "Get ready, I'm going to take the celestial body. With Zhu Yan's strength, it'll be difficult for us to stop him." Zhu Yan frowned. Even if we join forces with Vice Dean Lu Chengtian and the others, there's no hope. Humph, there's no need to be honorable when dealing with such a person. Tai Baotsai's words made Zhu Yan speechless. When was this guy ever honorable? Just wait, I'll wake him up and let him know who's the real deal. Tai Baokai and Zhu Yan whispered to each other. They didn't want Zhu Yan to take the celestial body, but it was too difficult to take it away under his nose. Boom! A series of loud noises erupted from the entrance of the giant palace. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Zhu Yan pulled out a chain that was shining with silver light. It was like a silver divine whip, and it was emitting a dazzling silver luster. This silver chain was surrounded by the luster of the stars, making Tai Baotsai's eyes turn red. Although it was also a divine weapon, this divine weapon was different. It was carved out of the stars and was extremely sturdy. It had a lot of room for growth in the future. Although many treasures flew out of the giant palace, most of them were ordinary divine weapons. This kid is too rich, we have to raid his house. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Zhu Yan. The silver chain was waved by him, as if a silver flood dragon was dancing in his hands, exuding a monstrous starlight. Rip! The celestial body's purgatory of energy was torn apart by the silver chain. The celestial body is mine. Zhu Yan's aura completely exploded. Holding the silver chain, he started piercing towards the celestial body. Clang! 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 The silver chain touched the celestial body at an extremely fast speed. Lu Chengtian and the others were furious. Once Zhu Yan obtained this treasure, who knew how arrogant he would be in the future? He wants to use the silver chain to bind the treasure and pull it down. Someone saw through Zhu Yan's intentions. The silver chain was like a flood dragon, quickly wrapping around the celestial body. As Zhu Yan used all his strength to pull, the celestial body shook and was slowly pulled down by Zhu Yan's strength. Ha ha ha! Zhu Yan laughed. He didn't expect this treasure to fall into his hands so easily. With the strength of the celestial body, it required an extremely powerful spatial treasure to store it. However, he couldn't do that. He could only pull it back and refine it into a supreme treasure in the future. What a powerful celestial body! Zhu Yan was so excited that his whole body was trembling. The celestial body was getting closer and closer to him. He could feel the divine power contained within the celestial body. Once it exploded, it would be a scene of destruction. Boom! At this moment, one after another, the aura of the celestial body exploded. Zhu Yan had awakened to his strongest state. His limbs and bones were filled with the tyrannical strength of a true dragon. Under the petrified gazes of the surrounding people, Su Yen swung a bronze cauldron and threw it out, smashing it towards the celestial body. They were stunned. What could this tattered bronze cauldron do? Some people watched as the bronze cauldron was smashed into pieces. However, the bronze cauldron quickly enlarged. Like a huge mountain, it rushed up and swallowed the celestial body. "You're courting death." Zhu Yan's expression changed drastically. He swung his fist at lightning speed and smashed it towards the bronze cauldron. "Look at how arrogant you are. You dare to show off in front of Master Baokai." Tai Baokai squatted in the cauldron and laughed disdainfully. Seeing that his fist landed solidly on the bronze cauldron, the cauldron didn't budge at all. Zhu Yan's expression was very strange. There is a subscription group in the circle. Everyone can join it. Chapter 100. Zhu Yan's fist produced a deafening sonic boom. However, what petrified everyone present was that the tattered bronze cauldron remained motionless in the air. Tai Baocai's sinister laughter spread throughout the audience. This was too awesome, daring to speak to Zhu Yan in such a manner. However, someone recognized Tai Baocai's appearance. Lu Chengtian and the others wanted to laugh. Wasn't this the giant panda? It was different from what he remembered. The lazy and clumsy giant panda was now much more nimble. How is this possible? What kind of treasure is this cauldron? It's already rotten to this extent, yet it still has such power. Someone sucked in a breath of cold air. He discovered that Zhu Yan's entire fist was bleeding and his bones were cracked. It was as if he had just hammered a cosmic star, almost breaking Zhu Yan's fist. Bastard! Zhu Yan was furious to the extreme. His eyes were bloodshot. His celestial body had been snatched away, and he had even been humiliated. Zhu Yan had never experienced such humiliation on Earth. The tattered bronze cauldron was actually able to suppress the celestial body's energy on its own. This moved Zhu Yan. His heart was filled with disbelief. What level of treasure was this cauldron? It could even suppress the celestial body's fluctuations. Rumble! Zhu Yan recovered to the extreme in an instant. All the secret treasures on his body were activated. His battle prowess increased by a large margin. He lifted his palm and pressed down on the bronze cauldron, wanting to snatch away this supreme treasure. Rumble! Zhu Yan pulled on the bronze cauldron. The cauldron was connected to his bloodline. The cauldron suddenly tore through the air and appeared in front of Zhu Yan. "Withdraw, hurry up and leave." Tai Baokai nimbly crawled out. He could already feel Zhu Yan's fury. It was like a 1,000-year-old resentful woman, suffused with a fury that could overturn rivers and seas. Zhu Yan's attack missed its target, but it caused the heaven and earth to tremble. A large crack ran through several li of land. Zhu Yan and Tai Baokai were seen running wildly under the dumbfounded gazes of the people around them. They were about to leave the underground palace. Zhu Yan still wanted to see what was inside the giant palace. The celestial body was only a precious treasure that was used to suppress the underground palace. One could imagine that inside this giant palace, there should be treasures that were even more terrifying than the celestial body. However, the Tai Baokai ran faster than a rabbit. Zhu Yan suddenly felt that the things inside were not so easy to snatch. "Stop right there!" Zhu Yan was enraged. He leaped forward, a purple glow gushing out of his body. He extended his palm, and the divine power in his body surged out, forming a giant purple handprint in the air. This attack was extremely shocking. The purple palm covered the sky and covered the sun. It was as if a huge mountain was covering over, and it began to suppress Zhu Yan and the others. Tai Baokai turned around calmly, its eyes full of treachery. The people around them vaguely felt that something was amiss. Lu Qingtian and the others were running for their lives, as if they had encountered something extremely dangerous. Zhu Yan had just sent them a message, telling them to leave quickly. Lu Qingtian and the others did not hesitate at all. They led their men and charged out. Boom! Suddenly, the entire underground palace began to shake. The magnitude of the shaking was extremely shocking, especially the 9,999 stairs. One after another, they began to collapse on their own. As if losing the support of the celestial body, more than 9,000 steps sank rapidly. The giant palace was like a divine palace suspended above the 9 heavens, filled with the domineering aura of an emperor. However, the giant palace now faintly flowed with a supreme aura that could annihilate all life in the universe. The moment this aura was released, the giant palace trembled. Some of the people closest to the giant palace felt as if their bodies were about to split apart, and they were in so much pain that they wished they were dead. Leave quickly. The onlookers were all trembling and almost paralyzed on the ground. This terrifying scene was simply like an unparalleled giant awakening from its slumber. This aura was like an ancient dragon, causing Zhu Yan to be both surprised and delighted. In the face of this aura, Zhu Yan gave up on chasing after Su Yan. He could tell that the treasure hidden in the giant palace was definitely a supreme treasure of the universe. It was not something a celestial body-level treasure could compare to. Everyone was frantically running for their lives. What kind of treasure is in the giant palace? Su Yan's eyes burned with desire. He sensed strands of energy that was so imposing that it could penetrate through a star field awakening, causing him to pale. Wasn't this treasure too powerful? It's a terrifying treasure, but it's not something we can take away now. Although Tai Baokai was envious, he cherished his life and knew that this treasure was not something they could touch. Boom! The movements were getting more and more shocking. The entire underground palace was shaking and showing signs of collapsing. What kind of treasure is that? How can it be so strong? Could it be a divine weapon? I think it's an immortal weapon. The entire giant palace was becoming more and more majestic. It was like an immortal palace of the great Tao. Resplendent immortal light gushed out from the open door. The frantically running people were scared silly. How ridiculous was this weapon? In the next moment, Zhu Yan's heart ached terribly. He saw countless secret treasures and divine weapons shattering on their own. This wisp of aura was, after all, too terrifying. During the process of awakening, the flowing aura had shattered a large number of divine weapons. However, in the midst of the shattered divine weapons, an extremely turbulent dragon roar was awakened. 2 powerful weapons were awakening on their own. They were full of divinity and seemed to have given birth to independent wills. They burst out rapidly and broke away from the giant palace. The moment they came out, a force strong enough to shake the starry sky swept across the whole place. Oh my God, look, look! The fleeing people were greatly shaken. The first thing they saw was a bronze chariot. When it flew out, it was only the size of a palm. It was sparkling and translucent as if it was made of bronze divine iron. However, the moment it flew out of the giant palace, the bronze chariot rapidly enlarged. With a rumble, it was filled with waves that caused the void to tremble. This bronze chariot was as shocking as a huge star in the universe. The aura it spewed out caused the surroundings to rumble. It even charged through the void on its own, causing the void to distort with the pressure of its wheels. 1. There was also a bronze sword. It had been sealed in Emperor Qin's tomb for thousands of years, but it was still dazzling. The entire body of the bronze sword was densely covered with mysterious patterns that seemed to be carved in the shape of a dragon. What left them dumbfounded was that there was not only one bronze sword, but a total of 9. The 9 bronze swords were carved with dragon patterns. Just like the 9 dragons' sword, they were sharp and terrifying. They were even more powerful than the bronze chariot. 2 heaven-defying weapons flew out of the giant palace. Tai Baotsai's eyes turned red. He said excitedly, "Dharma armament, these are Dharma armament. There are 2 Dharma armament. Damn it, this beast god has miscalculated." Tai Baokai almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Zhu Yan was not in a hurry to retreat. At this moment, he recovered and leaped into the sky, charging towards the bronze chariot. This was an ownerless treasure. With Zhu Yan's strength, he should be able to take the bronze chariot away. Furthermore, this treasure was extremely powerful. It was not something a divine weapon could compare to. It was a Kuei treasure refined by a strong person in the universe. Kid, hurry up and get Lord True Dragon to come out and take away the 9 killing swords. I estimate that this is a domain-type supreme treasure. Its value is much more terrifying than the bronze chariot. Tai Baokai was anxious. The giant palace was now very dangerous. With their strength, the death rate was too high if they rushed back. Su Yen was naturally envious. He quickly thought for a while, and his entire body instantly lit up. At the moment Su Yan's spine rose and fell, the dragon-shaped pillar gushed out. However, at this moment, the dragon-shaped pillar, under the evolution of Su Yan's primordial spirit, was surrounded by layers of a supreme true dragon's aura. Because of the strength of the dragon totem, Su Yen remembered this aura. Just as Su Yen revealed this aura, the 9 dragon-patterned swords roared and resonated with Su Yan's aura. Come back! Zhu Yan's furious voice exploded. He naturally knew that the 9 dragons' treasure sword was stronger. However, he had to suppress the bronze chariot in order to use the bronze chariot to suppress the 9 dragons' treasure sword. However, it was too late to say anything now. The 9 dragons' treasure sword flew towards Su Yen. A total of 9 bronze swords were suffused with a peerless sharpness. Ha ha ha! Su Yen faced the sky and laughed. The 9 dragons' treasure sword had already flown to him and was revolving around Su Yen. The 9 swords resonated with the true dragon's aura that Su Yen was releasing. The more this was the case, the more Tai Baokai believed that Su Yen was a true dragon's disciple. Otherwise, he would not be able to imitate the true dragon's aura. Hurry up and do it. Don't just stand there. Su Yen held the bronze cauldron. Tai Baokai quickly formed a series of secret hand seals. The bronze cauldron suddenly enlarged, and the cauldron's mouth was like the sky. It fiercely swallowed the 9 dragons' treasure sword. Tai Baokai was overjoyed. The harvest this time was too great. The astral body and the 9 dragons' treasure sword. Give it to me. Zhu Yen was angered to the extreme. He was still subduing the bronze chariot, but he was not willing to give up on the 9 dragons' treasure sword. He once again struck out with his palm, which transformed into a huge energy palm that slapped towards Su Yen. There were even people nearby who rushed over. They were also envious. Su Yan's harvest was even more astonishing than Zhu Yan's. They had to seize the bronze cauldron. Humph, it's already mine. Zhu Yen, stop dreaming. Su Yen took out the golden iron staff. The divine ability runes inscribed on the golden iron staff erupted. This golden iron staff flowed with a monstrous force that swept across the wilderness. The group of people who were pouncing towards him were smashed away by the energy ripples radiating from the giant palace. As for the energy palm that Zhu Yen struck out, it was blown apart by Tai Baocai's golden thunder bamboo. Rumble! Just as Zhu Yen was about to unleash a second attack, the aura gushing out from the giant palace surged violently. It was as if a slumbering immemorial giant was waking up from its slumber. The divine light from the entire giant palace rushed into the heavens and pierced through the great cosmos. The boundless immortal radiance was like a silver river. It soared up and cut open the starry sky. Many celestial bodies were cut open. What a terrifying scene this was! The whole earth was shaken by this aura. Immortal radiance shot into the sky one after another. They were as thick as a mountain and entwined with boundless divine might. The aura it released covered the whole earth. Millions and millions of creatures had their heads fall to the ground. Even the powerful demon kings were crushed. What a frightening treasure! Su Yen and Tai Baokai were stunned. There was an artifact erected in the giant palace. It was entwined with primal chaos and couldn't be seen clearly. However, the moment it awakened on its own, the sun and moon were destroyed. The primal chaos was like a vast ocean. The scene was monstrous. The entire underground giant palace couldn't withstand this aura and began to collapse. There were also people who died on the spot. They couldn't withstand the fluctuations of the aura emitted by the giant palace and exploded into a bloody mist. Chapter 101. Let's go! Let's hide first. This Zhu Yan brat has gone crazy. Let's go. Su Yen and Tai Baokai rushed out, not daring to stay for even a moment. They were too strong. Zhu Yen would not let them go. Rumble. The entire underground palace was rippling with destructive airflow. As time passed, it became more and more shocking. Su Yen and the rest ran as far as they could. Rumble. The entrance of Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum rumbled again. Zhu Yen swooped out at an extremely fast speed. His primordial spirit swept out in all directions, searching for traces of Su Yen and Tai Baokai. Su Yen, my brother, where are you? Do you think you can escape from my grasp? Zhu Yen was furious. His eyes were like lightning. His eyes were red and his heart was bleeding. The 9 dragons' treasured sword, the astral body, and the initial sutra were all fine as long as he could capture Su Yen alive. As long as he could capture Su Yen alive, he would get an opportunity that would change his life. The people around Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum were shocked. Who had angered Zhu Yen? Let's get out of here first. Su Yen had already mastered the qi of earth veins to cover his and Tai Baocai's traces. Even if Zhu Yen was strong now, it would be difficult for him to penetrate the qi of earth veins. What happened in Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum? At this moment, the Huaxia alliance was not calm. After all, the eruption of Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum was too terrifying. Only God knew what kind of treasure was hidden here that could awaken and shake the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The mausoleum was like a giant monster that had awakened from its slumber. Once the treasure was completely unsealed and rushed out, it would definitely lead to a disaster. Su Yen faintly sensed that the mausoleum had evolved into a pattern that connected heaven and earth. The 49 giant pillars had awakened and were using the method of sealing heaven and earth to suppress the energy fluctuations emitted by the treasure. If the treasure's energy fluctuations were not suppressed, the power of the mysterious treasure would be enough to sweep across the entire earth. Many people would die, and it would be the end of the universe. What kind of treasure has appeared? This movement is too scary. I'm so far away from Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum, but I feel like my soul has been destroyed. Someone asked a passerby who had escaped with a pale face. Something big must have happened in Emperor Qin's mausoleum. Even war god Zhu Yen is furious. Moreover, the commotion just now was so big. I guess the experts who went to Emperor Qin's mausoleum this time will suffer heavy casualties. Everyone was concerned. However, this aura that permeated the universe did not exist for long before it slowly went dormant. However, there were large cracks everywhere within 1,000 li, and many regions had sunk down. This scene made them shiver in fear. Who angered God of War Zhu Yen? Some onlookers saw that Zhu Yen was furious and seemed to be searching for traces of someone. However, no matter how hard Zhu Yen searched, he could not find Su Yan's whereabouts. He had miscalculated. It should be safe. Ha ha, Zhu Yen must be mad. Su Yen had already run to the wilderness 1,000 miles away. He did not know where he was. Su Yan's mood was heavy. After all, Zhu Yan's prestige in the Huaxia alliance was too strong. He was also the #1 expert. If Zhu Yan inverted the truth and smeared Su Yan's reputation, Su Yan would not have a place in the Huaxia alliance. They found an ancient cave. Tai Baokai got a few big stones to seal the cave. He bared his teeth and said, "Take out the bronze cauldron. Let me see how strong the sword is." Su Yen glanced at Tai Baokai and said calmly, "Baokai, did you forget something?" Hearing this, Tai Baokai was stunned. His pair of big ears instantly stood up. He glared at Su Yan and threatened, "Kid, don't tell me you want to take it for yourself? Without this beast god's advice, how could you have taken the 9 dragons' sword and the astral body? Also, we agreed to split them equally." "Humph, Tai Baokai, don't play this game with me. We worked together to take the astral body. This thing can be divided equally." Su Yan snorted. "As for the 9 dragons' sword, I risked my life to take it. If I did not use the secret technique that Master Zhenlong passed on to me, how could I have taken the 9 dragons' sword? Don't you think it makes sense?" When Su Yan mentioned Zhenlong, Tai Baokai was speechless. He circled around Su Yan. His glittering and translucent fur was about to stand up. He said in an unfriendly tone, "How about this, you call Master Zhenlong out and let him judge for us? Didn't I say that Master Zhenlong is sleeping? Unless I am in a life and death situation, he will not come out. Don't use Master Zhenlong to pressure me." Tai Baokai said angrily, "How about this, you pass me another part of the ancient scripture and I will give you the imperial treasure technique?" Tai Baokai. Su Yan suddenly stood up and said unfathomably, "Are you sure you don't want to give me the imperial treasure technique? And you want to steal the ancient scripture that Master Zhenlong passed on to me? Who wants to steal the imperial treasure technique? This is a deal," Tai Baokai said eloquently, "and you can't beat me." As soon as Tai Baocai's words fell, the void suddenly filled with waves of oppressive qi. This was a palm that covered the sky and covered the sun. It was surrounded by a towering aura that seemed to be able to grab a star. Tai Baokai trembled in fright. It was too late for him to run because the palm was too close. He was caught in an instant. "Su Yan, what are you doing?" Tai Baokai screamed. At this moment, Su Bingshuang had awakened. Her elegant demeanor was peerless, and she directly used her Saint Qi hand to grab Tai Baokai. When Su Bingshuang walked out of the Phoenix hairpin, she noticed Tai Baocai's appearance. Her big eyes lit up and she said excitedly, "Brother, where did you get this panda? This is a rare breed." This rare breed completely angered Tai Baokai. He howled, "You are the rare breed. I am the beast god. Beast god, do you understand?" "Beast god?" Su Bingshuang said in surprise. "Brother, did the panda get provoked? He dares to call himself the beast god?" "He did get provoked." Su Yan nodded seriously and said, "He probably has some unbearable memories. Look at his conduct, he is not a good bird. He needs to be taught a lesson." Their exchange of words greatly damaged Tai Baocai's mind. "Pandas have always been kind. Now that one has appeared, we can definitely find a second one. I think we should find a female one. Maybe she can give birth to a cub." Su Bingshuang was excited and said excitedly. Her unusually excited tone made Tai Baokai dumbfounded. He lowered his head and did not dare to speak. Su Yan scratched his head and said, "Isn't this too easy for him? Find him a Tao companion? This can't be, it's too easy for him." Yes. Su Yan, you are right," Tai Baokai said with a sad face. "What's wrong with that?" Su Bingshuang said with a longing look, "When we give birth to a group, the world will envy me to death." Hee. Su Bingshuang laughed. Her eyes were full of excitement. She felt happy just thinking about it. Tai Baokai almost fainted. Thinking about being tied up and forced to make babies all day long, Tai Baokai was so scared that he almost foamed at the mouth. He begged for help. "Su Yan, the imperial treasure technique is in my hands. Don't mess around." Su Yan directly took out the bronze cauldron and threatened, "Baokai, hurry up and give me the imperial treasure technique. Otherwise, I will suppress you and make babies. If I can't find a female panda, I will catch a big sow and try it." "Su Yan, you bastard." Tai Baocai's nose was almost crooked from anger. Thinking about the scene, he had goosebumps all over his body. He said excitedly, "I'll give it to you, okay? I'll give it to you. But let's talk about it first. The things inside will be divided equally." Su Yan looked at him with a threatening gaze. Tai Baokai said painfully, "The 9 dragons' treasured sword is yours." Su Bingshuang was inspecting the broken cauldron. She didn't feel anything special about it. Tai Baokai obediently handed over the imperial treasure technique. Su Yen studied it for a while. His hands instantly formed a seal. Sure enough, at the same time he formed the seal, it resonated with the bronze cauldron. It was also at this time. Within the bronze cauldron, an endless source of terror suddenly filled the air. However, the bronze cauldron was very special. Although it was broken, the aura within the cauldron didn't leak at all. Su Bingshuang was stunned. She stared at the 9 bronze killing swords, at the celestial bodies, at the 8 divine weapons. There were too many treasures inside. Tai Baokai, where did you hide the 8 trigrams cauldron? Su Yen threatened again. You have to be honest. Tai Baocai's face darkened. The golden pills are yours. The 8 trigrams cauldron is mine. You don't need the cauldron. There is a flame inside. I can absorb it and refine it into my own flame. Su Yen finally gave up. Su Bingshuang also let go of Tai Baokai. Tai Baokai was shocked. Its whole body was covered in cold sweat. Especially the way Su Bingshuang looked at it made Tai Baokai shudder. The rolling mountain range was not quiet now. Su Yan's anger was about to burn down a few thousand miles. He searched everywhere, but he still couldn't find Su Yen and Tai Baokai. The incident at Emperor Qin's tomb had also spread throughout the entire Huaxia alliance, causing a huge commotion. The impact of this incident was too great. The entire Huaxia alliance trembled. The residents of the 9th base could feel Su Yan's anger. The world is going to change. All the factions were shaken. More and more experts gathered at the 9th base. They were all Su Yan's subordinates. They sealed off the entire 9th base. Su Yan's methods were so forceful that Lu Qingtian and the others were scared. It seemed that Su Yan had really pushed Su Yan too far. They could only wait for Xia Zhe to come out of seclusion. They were even worried that Su Yan would make a move on Xia Zhe. They had already received news that the martial god was injured. He should be recuperating somewhere and wouldn't come out for a few days. Su Yan won't let this go. His disciples were killed and his fortune was taken away. Su Yan is too daring. He even dared to provoke Su Yan. Su Yan has made a great contribution to the Huaxia alliance. No matter what, Su Yan has to come and apologize. That's right. Even if Su Yan is the martial god's disciple, Su Yan has committed a great crime. Even if he is talented, he can't disregard the law, right? The incident at Emperor Qin's tomb had already spread. The entire Huaxia alliance was in an uproar. Some of the older experts could see Su Yan's determination. This was a method that wouldn't give up. While everyone was paying attention to the development of base number 9, a great earthquake occurred in Huaxia College. A group of life spring stage cultivators in the 8th or 9th fold heaven directly broke in, and the leader was Tong Huiyin. Tong Huiyin, what are you doing? Elder Liang's expression changed. A large number of Huaxia University's experts were at the 9th base. Tong was silver hair draped over his shoulders. It was clear that his arms had been healed using special secret medicines. At this moment, his entire being was like a silver deity. He was emitting a monstrous fury as he sent Elder Liang flying with a single sleeve. Elder Liang coughed out a mouthful of blood. His entire body trembled in pain. The entire Huaxia University was filled with Tong Huiyin's fury. He shouted, "Pass down my orders. Su Yan has already betrayed the Huaxia alliance." After war god Su Yan's investigation, Bai Menjing and Lin Wanlan are likely to betray the Huaxia alliance. Take them away immediately. This accusation caused Elder Liang's expression to change greatly.